And I'm really happy with this Chinese guy soundboard, James. It's really
I like it.
Yeah, it's really adding a whole new level. Whole new level to the show, whole new dynamic.
Makes us international.
Oh, absolutely, yes, that's absolutely
fucking it. Thing sucks. We'll do it live.
Cruising with Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruising with Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruising with
Welcome back to Cruising with Steak. Grimsteak here with my man James Cruz.
And you were smooching with my brother.
That would be me.
Yes. I got my man back on return. He took a leave last week, Jerry Cthulhu.
Hola.
Hey.
And Florida parents.
Yeah, it's good times. You know, it's nice to get out of the state for a little bit.
I got a funny story about that too.
Oh, nice. And we'll introduce the fourth man. He's here. His name is Cliff Wall. We haven't even done a sound check. He just got here.
0111001111.
Coming through great. So welcome to the show.
You've been with everybody.
we got a
I know
fun
who
film.
that is too.
That's all I know that from is Home Alone. I don't know the actual movie that it's from.
I got a new soundboard.
Yes.
I know it was you. Mm-hmm. You was here. You was here last night too, wasn't you?
I think we might be able to devolve the show into just 2 hours of soundboards, and then we could just be done. Just call it a show.
If we could craft the show to only use soundboards, that would be amazing.
Oh, it'd be brilliant.
Don't give me that.
Stumpy, little Charlie, my brother-in-law Nicky. What is that? What he says?
Yes. That was a good one. Obviously, I mean, he used that to trick the robbers. Or no, that was to trick it was who's Tim Curry, wasn't it?
I'm gonna give you snakes.
Wasn't it Joe Pesci?
You to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. 1, 2, 10.
Funny story. My wife's big into watching like home improvement shows and real estate shows of like buying houses in different countries.
Nice.
And there was
Love her list it.
Yeah, there was a couple on there where the guy was like in his like mid-20s, kind of a professional guy, and he was really hoping for a house that looked like the Home Alone like brick house.
The brick.
And
Colonial.
I want the McAllister. Just give me the McAllister. That's all I want.
The McAllister package. Yeah.
He was really fixated on it. So all the houses that they picked were just, they looked exactly like the
entire north side of Chicago was filled with them.
Mm-hmm. That's where the show was.
Charge no more.
That's where it was. That was the show. It's in Chicago.
I got a kick out of it. There's no he wasn't looking for utility. He was just looking for the facade.
All right.
That means like the
facade.
front, the face of it.
Okay.
Facade.
Okay. Thank you. I thought you meant like fascia or something. The facade.
French for face. You're what the French call les incompetents.
Get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
So everybody have a good Thanksgiving? You avoid the gobble squatch?
Yeah. I ate that.
What is a gobble squatch?
Yeah,
it's encrypted.
You gotta listen.
You gotta listen to James kind of glance at a paragraph about the gobble squatch.
We went to a restaurant in Sarasota, Florida.
Ooh.
That they had a limited menu from the regular. So it was like I had crab cakes actually.
Nice.
But like the rest of my family I had turkey, and it was like 4 slices of turkey, some stuffing, and a choice of vegetable. $38.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Country club life.
It wasn't the country club.
Mm.
Was the tip included?
No, and the waiter made a point to tell us so.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't have
tacky.
a tip, even though I'm supposed to.
Yeah, that is really
Thanks,
tacky.
Dick. No, he was good.
Icky.
He was actually good.
Did he come by like after like 8 minutes and say, after you gave your food and said, so how is everything tasting?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, you want to feel like you're cared about, like you're appreciated. You know, you're spending your money
He
there.
offered to feed my mother.
Really? He'll cut it up and feed it to her?
No.
As a waiter or waitress, you have to find that balance. The balance.
Yeah.
Of,
Yeah, you don't want to be like too helicoptery where you're just hovering, but you want to give them their space. But always refill drinks.
Right. The place was packed, so I mean, we weren't his only table.
Waiter's name? What was his name?
Joe? Joe. I think it was Joe.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Yeah, built the animal.
Oh, speaking of restaurants, okay, this is perfect segue. I wanted to bring that 2 days ago. I was thinking I got to tell this anecdote on the show because it's related to steak.
Yeah, I forgot you mentioned that in the chat.
Well, here it is. It's pretty funny. It has to do with my wife. She was at a wedding and they had their plate of food and she was going at it and she was eating some steak and it was really gristly. So she spit it out and put it on the side of her plate. And her friend, he didn't see her spitting it out and he's like, hey, why aren't you eating that? And he poked his fork at her already chewed up steak and started like eating it. And I don't know if she didn't see him grab at it, but after a while she mentioned to him, hey, that was food that I was just
That's nasty.
Yeah, that is. Oh, that's perfect.
I was at dinner once with someone, and it was a prime rib dinner. I remember who it was. It was my neighbor in Chicago. So we had gone to it was like a Knights of Columbus poker night, some shit like that.
Right.
And they had prime rib, and it was like $10 to get in. And I'm cutting all the fat off my prime rib because I don't really like chewing on fat. I just wanted the meat. And my neighbor, it's like, oh, you're throwing that away. And he's like, I only like the fat. Then he's giving me the red meat inside and eating all the fat off the edge. I'm like,
dude, that's the fat on a prime rib. That's a different kind of fat. It's not that gristly fat. It's that melt in your mouth like brisket fat. Oh God.
It's fat. It's like it's not foie gras. Cow,
There's some good fat out there. Just melt in your mouth fat. I'm telling you.
I know her.
Yes.
Is that her nickname in high school?
Yes. Mine was gravy bones, like the dog food.
MIYM.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was, it was a hit. It was just a normal thing. Family stuff. Never anything exciting.
Yeah.
No, but that was that.
Did you guys have on Netflix and you guys fight over what to watch?
Nah, there was nothing like that.
I brought my Roku.
You got a mobile Roku?
Yeah, it's a stick. You just plug it into the HDMI port of any TV.
Oh, speaking of Netflix, in the springtime, they are releasing Evangelion. It's an old anime, like a classic, but it's never been on any streaming service. This is pretty big deal. Pretty excited about it.
I shall alert the media.
Just throwing that out there.
Have you guys watched Sabrina yet?
No. Nah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Teenage Witch?
It's like the chilling chronicles of Sabrina. It's allegedly based on the Archie comics from like the 80s.
So it has nothing to do with like Melissa Joan Hart and Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
And Bewitched. No, it has nothing to do with it.
All right, well then my whole mind's changed. I thought it was some sort of reboot because I'm having a real huge issue with reboot culture lately.
It's not a reboot. It's brand new.
Dude.
It's called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Well, I appreciate you clearing that up for me, Jerry, because that's literally been the entire reason I haven't watched it because I thought it was a reboot. Okay.
So there's an interesting story behind it too.
He debooted the reboot.
Yeah, you debooted it. Thank you.
So I don't remember when it was, but a few years back, the Church of Satan.
Oh, the Baphomet.
Statue of Baphomet next to Ten Commandments sculpture, for religious equality.
For 2012? Was that in 2012 or was it like 2 years ago?
I don't remember when it was exactly, but it's a very distinctive statue because it has two kids looking up. It's soft, okay? It's a soft statue.
No tits.
And in the Hogwarts of Sabrina's life, whatever school, I forget the name of the school. School for something, the Unseen Arts. So in the foyer of the school is that exact statue with uplights pointing down on it. The Church of Satan is suing Netflix and Warner Brothers over the use of that statue because it was copyrighted. It was actually commissioned to a sculptor, and he made it. Yeah. So actually, Warner Brothers is going to settle. They're going to settle.
Wow, they're not even going to fight it.
Nope.
Good.
Well, they can't.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah,
they'll lose.
Right.
The funny thing about that show, the best thing, they settled a $150 million lawsuit.
Wow.
The statue violates copyright and trademark rights of the temple's own historic goat-headed deity.
Yeah.
So the best part of the show is that she lives with her aunts because her parents are dead. She's an orphan.
That's Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
It's not.
Okay.
Maybe Sabrina the Teenage Witch is also based on the Archie comics, but this is very dark.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's not a kid's show. So anyway, her aunt Zelda, by the way.
Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same story.
Oh my Satan, or Satan help us, or Satan this, instead of saying God, everybody can say God, she says Satan or Dark Lord. It's hilarious. It's tired too, you hear it enough and it's like I get it.
Yeah. This reminds me of the Great Outdoors movie with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there's a scene in there where they're all going off on each other and saying, "No, why don't you blow it out your ass?" I might have brought this up before, but I watched the TV version of it once, and they replaced ass with kazoo.
Blow it out your kazoo.
And they say it like 3 or 4 times.
My kids had to tell me what "oh snap" meant. Apparently, "oh snap" was the voiceover for "oh shit."
That makes sense.
I heard about shit going out. Oh snap! And I would just say because it sounded funny. So I'll tell my quick little story now during this
let's hear it.
hiatus of voices.
That's what happens.
So my dad, I forgot how the conversation built up, but I was talking to my brother on the couch about the show number 69. And I said, do you remember that video store in the building on 100? He's like, totally. And he starts chirping up with like all the details of, remember I told you about the tape that we hid in the ceiling tiles?
Yeah.
You remember the name of it? Where exactly it was hidden, like 3 tiles over and 2 down from the back. You remember everything about this tape. It was called Oriental Babysitter.
Oh, man.
Anyway, my dad's like, I heard that too. I'm like, what? He's like, I listened to that show. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, that's great.
He's giving me shit for stealing this hustler.
Oh, it's the best thing
And then
ever.
he starts claiming, I didn't have any porn. Yeah, right. Well, your mother bought it. That was his big thing. Your mom did it. Your mom did it all. So, and obviously, she wasn't paying attention, so she has no idea. He just blamed her for it. It was funny.
Dude, it's so great that your dad was listening to the show, though. It makes me so happy.
It is. It made me very happy. He won't listen to my podcast, but he'll listen to yours.
But yeah,
I wanted to try.
Hold on, Felix, because this kind of ties back to the Sabrina thing and this whole reboot culture. So, I'm watching football during Thanksgiving with the family, and a commercial comes on for a new Lion King. A Lion King, and it's like it's a live action, but with like CG really good lions, or maybe real lions. I couldn't tell. It's Uncanny Valley, not even. It's tricking me, but dude, and then there's like a new Mary Poppins movie, and then there's like another Transformers movie coming.
Yeah, was it Toy Story? Emily Blunt's in that though.
But what happened to original ideas?
Yeah.
Aren't any more left? We're all gone.
Cruising with Steak. Excuse me.
Well, I mean that's why we're here, because we had to. We're not in the mainstream. Yeah, we're that alternative media.
So original, we don't even know what we're gonna say.
Yeah, exactly. Who does show prep?
That there are only seven plots that can be written into a story. 7 basic plots. So every story, everything can be boiled down to these basic plots. So
maybe that's the thing I heard before. Yeah, like the hero's journey. There's
the parents. The parents die. The parents die, and then
rags to riches. No, it's even more detailed than that. It's more broad than that. Like a rags to riches story. That's one, right? The hero's journey is another one, but that's also a rags to riches. You know,
it basically is. Yeah.
What about riches to rags?
How about riches to rags to riches? That was an old Mel Brooks movie.
Like a trilogy. First one's all about the riches. Second one's all about rags. Third one's all about riches.
Richie Rich.
I hate Richie Rich.
No.
Anyway.
Oh man. Yeah, the reboot thing. The only thing I like about the new Transformers is like it's how it should have been done in the first place, I think. Like from the stuff I've seen. Because they're using the stuff that we had when we were kids. They're just rebooting that franchise basically again. Right. You know, I think they did what they could with the modern stuff. So they're using like the original Bumblebee, you know, like where he's a Volkswagen and, you know, all these, the ones you grew up with, the actual, like the cassette tape dude, you know, and it has the tapes that fly out of his chest and transform into dogs and shit in the bird. Right. Like they have like all those guys in it, and like the original like Starscream where he's like red and silver, and it looks really cool. They're hitting Transformers movie.
They're hitting those.
Cena's in it.
They're hitting those nostalgia strings even harder by tapping into it. I almost wonder if like all this shit, like if some future culture looked back on us, they would probably think that we worship these things as gods, because we basically have rebooted them over and over the past years, and you have to think how much energy is getting put into these too. Like they have to have some kind of power. Like I wonder if certain times of the year they
go.
No, but if like at certain points they reboot the culture, because they're like, okay, we need the Transformers god right now to come out, and then they release a new Transformers movie, and then people put all their energy behind it. Like who knows?
Here's what they need to do.
I've heard people talk about that.
From here on out, every single reboot has to be in sepia tones.
That's what I would suggest that. Yeah.
All right.
I would. Yeah. You have like a noir. Like there's a new Spider-Man, which is actually looks pretty awesome. It's an animated one, and it's called Into the Spider-Verse, Spideyverse, or something like that. Spider-Verse.
Yeah, with Black Spider-Man.
Miles. Yeah, this kid Miles, and he meets Peter Parker. And Peter Parker's like, I don't like your style, man. This is how you got to do it. And so and then it ends up being like 7 versions of Spider-Man, and one's a pig. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Spider-Verse. Pig. I have that shirt.
And so, but there's also a noir Spider-Man from like Dick Tracy era, you know, like it's pretty cool. Like it comes out around Christmas, and I'll be checking that out. It should be pretty cool.
The Spider-Man gods. They need their
Marvel gods.
They need their energy.
Aquaman.
Energy is just currency.
I caught up on all the DC stuff the other day on Sunday. I watched.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah, you saw.
I saw, yeah.
Because I had never seen those.
Justice League, you finally saw that then, right?
Yeah. Because I didn't know how Superman died. I actually watched them in reverse order, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it was the Ultimate Edition of Justice League. One of them was the Ultimate Edition, and it had a lot of Kingdom Come references. Well, at least what I saw is Kingdom Come references. If you're a fan of Superman, Batman universe, you'll know what Kingdom Come is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the gods as archetypes and superheroes, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and
that really interests me right now. Like it's just I just keep thinking about it.
If your perspective is that the gods of myth were created by man and then fed energy, so their archetypes developed their thought into thought forms. Okay, so if you take that approach, then of course every superhero has an archetype in that space that you can call down and help and use the energy of that archetype for your workings. So you can use Superman. He's probably more popular than, say...
Oh, yeah. Superman and Mickey Mouse, I think, are the two most powerful.
Demons.
Right. And each guy was in it at the time that, like, say like you're like this Greek god, but imagine like the time frame that was in, and the technology that was in. So it was probably like a game of telephone. Like, did you see Tim? Dude, he lifted that boulder off that lady, but it was just like a rock fell down and tapped her in the foot. But the game of telephone made it so broad and so insane that the myth grew into a legend, grew into planet-sized lore.
I've read that, especially I think it was in Rome, that they had the priests could call gods into the statues, so they could have they'd build a statue of Mercury, for instance, and then call his spirit to inhabit it. And they actually felt that the spirit was in there and could guide them. So they
I was going to say maybe they're those certain intuitive people, like those sensitive to whatever,
right? Of course,
energies and shit like that. Yeah. So
but that's no different from drawing spirits into crystals.
You could. I could
crystalline format. Crystalline matrix. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think that there are gods out there. I think there are energy thought forms that maybe become tulpas at certain energetic peaks, right? But they exist, and it's just like in American Gods where they talk about how they're losing their power because no one believes them anymore.
Yeah, you have the new gods, technology gods, and everything raising up. Yeah,
we got Marvel Comics.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
You guys ever see the Hellboy movie? The
great movie.
I never watched them.
Great movies.
I just have like mental images of that movie and that being it's kind of noir.
Watch it again. It's very esoteric.
Yeah, I remember liking it, and I saw it a long time ago.
Because these creatures that they curate, I guess, I don't know, whatever the squad of weirdos that are together are kind of like other dimensional creatures that have been pulled into here through ritual.
Guess you remember Sin City? That was pretty noir and pretty awesome. I love that movie.
Rodriguez, was it?
It's a black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah, dude,
that's the movie I was thinking of.
Yeah, Sin City is so good.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Elijah Wood. There were a lot of people in that movie. It's fucking
Wasn't
great.
he like a weird serial killer?
Yeah, he was.
Rosario somebody or other.
Rosario Dawson? Is that?
Dawson, yep.
Yeah. Smoking hot.
And there was some other old guy in there like Nick Nolte or...
Was it Mickey Rourke?
Who was the... Yeah, Mickey Rourke, but who was the yellow guy's dad? I know, don't tell me. Not Stacy Keach. It was I'll think of it. He's got a weird name.
I don't know.
He's a Stacy Keach analog. I'll look it up. Because I can't remember.
John Voight. No. Yeah,
here's my Bacon fantasy show, by the way.
The Watchmen was kind of noirish.
Yeah, it was very noirish.
It's a nice
Spider Pig
fantasy shirt. Yeah, Spider Pig.
I have the shirt. It's a great shirt.
That is a great shirt. Oh,
hey, you
man.
took over my screen.
You did that. It's a screen takeover. Bacon Squatch.
I wanted to bring up this logical paradox to see if I could explain it to you guys, because it was one of these paradoxes that kind of got my mind thinking.
Let's hear it.
Logic? Let's try.
Okay. So the whole premise of it was the guy's name's Bertrand Russell. Do you guys know that guy?
I know that name.
Familiar?
It's familiar, but I don't think I know the guy.
Bertrand Russell? I think it was Bertrand Russell. But he did a lot of work in categorizing things and doing different sets of things and thinking logically of how things kind of fit categorically. So he was trying to think about how if a set could be a part of like a bigger set and include like itself. And the paradox is this, that let's say you could classify paintings in two different categories. One of them is just paintings that are just regular old paintings like Mona Lisa. And then the other category of paintings would be paintings that have little mini versions of themselves within themselves. So you follow me so far?
Okay.
Yeah.
And they consider those like Russell paintings. So the Russell paintings are the ones that don't have a mini version of themselves within themselves. Okay. So someone takes all those paintings that don't have the mini versions and has like an art show, and they put all the paintings of the world, in this art show, and it's all the paintings that don't have the mini versions. And then the guy who's running the art show says, hey, let's get a painting of this art show on display. Let's get a painting of it. So as the person painting it, the painting that they're making should be part of this collection. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the mini version. But the paradox lies in...
Yeah, and afterwards. It's not a paradox.
It would have to be in that collection, and then when it was painted, then it would have a mini version of itself within itself.
In itself?
Yeah, but if you knew what you were going to paint, then you could do that.
But if you're keeping it in the two categories, you have to keep going back and forth and erasing the little tiny version of the painting.
No, you don't. If you agree that you're going to paint a picture of a turd, it's going to be a turd and it's going to be tiny. You can do it at the same time and be done.
You know, he used to do that. Salvador Dali used to do that. He used to paint the same paint a picture of the picture in that picture.
Yeah, it's very introspective.
Yeah, he would do them in the eyes or something like that.
I could be wrong, Cliff. Wow.
But the idea is that there's two separate categories. One is just plain old paintings that don't have mini versions. Mm-hmm. And then there's the ones that have the mini versions. So if you have a collection of all the paintings that are just paintings by themselves, and then someone comes in and is painting that, the new painting that they're making is one of those paintings that doesn't have a mini version of itself. But if it was part of the paintings that didn't have the mini version of itself, it should be in that collection. Yeah, so as a person painting it, they'd have to, I got to do a little version of this painting itself. But then that's the paradox.
The way you're structured, it's impossible to get into that paradox.
I'm not trying to get you into it.
You give me an example of something that would cause that paradox. How's that? You're basically asking me to disprove the negative.
It's just the classification. You can only split two sets.
It seems like by the time you're painting it, you would have already decided your classifications and had your displays made. So that painting would be a part of the painting that isn't a painting within itself, but then it becomes a painting of a tiny painting. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
But then it's considered one of the paintings of the other.
Yeah, it would be. Once you put it up there, it gets considered.
I think this would very well demonstrate the flaw in this categorization system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I think they came up, or why he came up with it, is to be able to say, okay, this set can't actually be part of the bigger set, or the bigger set can't actually be part of the smaller.
The subset can't be part of the superset.
Something like that. But when I was reading, I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, because I love little tiny paintings and thinking about dreams within dreams kind of thing.
Like dollhouses. In dollhouses.
Russian dolls.
Russian dolls in Russian dollhouses.
In Russian dolls. Hey, I want to give a quick belated birthday shout out to Beefsteak in the chats.
Yo, Beefsteak.
Happy birthday. Happy belated.
Oh, is he 33 too?
I think the big 3-0. No, he's 30.
What about B Strut? Didn't he have a baby or something recently?
Yeah, he's B Strut and known in other lands.
And he had a baby.
I think so. He might have.
Baby girl.
It's possible. Congrats. Shoutouts.
Shout out.
So I found out what a THOT is today after Anankun in the chats posted.
I saw that too.
This big thing. Apparently the IRS put out a tweet saying something about claiming taxes through
Twitch streams
and Snapchat, because these women or sex workers or whatever, and Cruising with Stig is a pro sex worker podcast.
Has been since day one.
Since day one.
Ish.
They are there we go. There's the links. I scrolled up enough. But pretty much with Snapchat Premium,
Fuck it right in the pussy.
These girls are able to charge people or solicit naked pictures for money, and it goes through PayPal. And apparently, the IRS wants a piece of that pie because, taxation theft, and it's income.
unreported income, right?
Yeah.
This is overreach. This is overreach. If you make money doing that, you are obligated to report it and pay tax on it.
Right.
If they're coming out and say we're not getting enough tax, then go enforce it with those people. Don't make everyone, don't add new rules for this. If it's on PayPal, then it's going to get reported to the IRS. It's overreach.
It's a PayPal to PayPal transaction.
Well, dude, PayPal just seems sketchy now after the whole Grimerica thing.
Yeah, it seems shady,
it's
right?
just like
it's an NSA operation.
There you go.
totally.
Who started it?
Yeah,
Keeps
dude,
track of
dude, Teal. Teal,
Elon
whatever.
Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk. I thought what's this? Peter Thiel or whatever his
Peter
name.
Thiel and Max Levchin, all three of them did. But yeah,
Okay, that all makes sense then.
I'm not saying they're
It's overreach and it's reach around.
Yeah.
NSA. They probably are.
Well, the taxation is theft. We all know this anyway.
It is.
And boom goes the dynamite.
And boom goes the dynamite.
What was there's something in the chat, something about the rent is too damn high, and something else the
The rent is too damn high.
the gender
The dude's name I couldn't think of was Powers Booth.
it was like superhero name.
Powers Booth. And the other guy who was in it was Clive Owen. From Children of Men. Great movie.
I think I've only seen the beginning.
It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen that movie, watch it because I think that's the timeline we're on.
All right, I like it.
Like social engineering.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Chinese, they're creating genetically modified people now. Like they've perfected. They've
Big
perfected.
uproar about that too.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
They're denying it. They're like, "Oh, I didn't say that."
Yeah, no, that never happened. Yeah, but they're able to create people with they could cut out the AIDS virus and cut out all these things and make like super beings.
It
like
just makes me wonder: has the entire mainstream media become the National Enquirer? They're just going to, mix in some true shit with sensational stuff that they hope nobody ever really verifies.
Maybe, but dude, who knows? Like, who knows what the fuck's going on in China? They have tons of money. They have their media blackout. Like, they could be doing crazy stuff we have no idea about.
They could have death lasers and flying saucers.
They absolutely could. Like, every single conspiracy theory that we have could just be the Chinese. Rich, crazy Asians.
Flying
lasers.
Maybe.
Flying lasers and death saucers.
Well, dude, they were last year they were turning on the largest radio satellite. Like it's like twice the size of Arecibo, and like then we never heard anything from it. Like you see one article saying, "Hey, China flipped it on today," and then you hear nothing.
They're building a duplicate of CERN but bigger.
Yeah, I believe. God, I
read somewhere. Oh, where did I read that? Someone was suggesting that they've discovered a free energy, like 0 point energy harvesting. And that's what's mining all the Bitcoin.
Well, dude, there was 3 years ago. I remember, I don't remember the exact time, but I remember a law passed in India, or they were trying to make free energy devices legal, so everybody could use it. And then it just kind of disappeared. Like, then I think they clamped it out.
Keshi, the Keshi Institute. Yeah, maybe. India actually, I'm pretty sure, outlawed all cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
The whole country. So I guess.
Dude, Bitcoin's crashing hard.
Yeah.
I got a Bitcoin story I just heard today.
It'll go back up.
Wasn't it last year that India was getting rid of small money? No,
when was the last time we even heard anything about
India? Minimum $100 rupee or something.
When was the last time we even heard anything about India in the news? Nothing. We get nothing but anti-Trump stories, and that's about it.
Papers all the time. I keep up on what's going on in India because they have a lot of interesting shit going on over there. Did you know there was some kind of blizzard in? I think it was in Iraq.
Really?
And there's flooding in Saudi Arabia. There's like crazy weather over there.
That's kind of interesting.
Oh, and also I heard there's some new climate change report came out, and the left is all like, "Oh, if you don't believe this, you're a fucking climate denier, like you're a Holocaust denier."
Yeah, I heard something about that, and then they were all up in arms because they released the data on Black Friday, because I guess it was some damning report saying something.
They tried the whoever, like the mainstream media tried to make it out like it was Trump's way of saying fuck you to the public. Like, haha,
Yeah.
you're too happy today. Here's some bad news.
Yeah.
No, I totally forgot. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So the thing with climate change is that NASA's been reporting that I'm pretty sure all the planets in our solar system are going through climate change as well.
Yeah.
Similar strange activity, which means that it's a solar thing.
Dude, that's exactly how I felt the entire time. Like, why wouldn't we have universal seasons? Like, if our galaxy's got to be going through a different part or the Milky Way is going through a different part. Like, everything's fractals. Everything's fractals. So why wouldn't our solar system have a season like that?
Right. And I don't know if this is actually true, but I've heard it a bunch of times that our solar system oscillates, our galaxy oscillates like a sine wave around another larger super galaxy. And when we breach the ecliptic, they'll say I think it's a 26,500 year cycle when you're above the ecliptic, and then you go into quote unquote darkness.
The great year.
Right, exactly. The Baktun, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Oh man.
So yeah, right now, allegedly, we are above this, and this would be a new yuga on the Hindu calendar, right?
The Kali Yuga, Yep.
Right. So if we're now above this ecliptic, who knows what kind of radiation we are being exposed to, which could account for how our sun is reacting. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? Nobody. That's the whole point.
And isn't it interesting that a lot of ancient texts like that, like the whatever Bhagavad Gita or whatever, they predict these times and when this time is going to happen, and it's like I feel if anybody would know, it would be them, because they've been passed down this knowledge from oral traditions.
But that could be programming too, to make
it. Could be
if the collective believes that, right? That will be the reality they'll manifest.
Right.
Maybe if we're in a co-creative space, like it said, right? So if someone else is writing the narrative and we're all co-creating this narrative that we didn't write, it could do anything. It could go anywhere. So who knows?
Or what if we're the only people that have ever lived in this state and time right now, and we're just constantly repeating the same things over and over we're in the craziest times, and it's just the funnest. Like there's some video game getting played and they're like, okay, this is a pretty exciting time. Let's just run these guys through the simulation again.
I agree.
Everything in the past never existed. Like it's all just.
Well, no, it doesn't matter if it did or didn't. It's become the foundation of what we believe today. So we're carrying it forward regardless. And I forgot what I was going to say. Damn, it was interesting too. Oh yeah. So think, what if the plot for each sim run is the same?
Oh man,
okay.
Yeah,
We're just players in this one plot. Think of like Diablo 3.
Yeah,
like you run through that, you're done. It's like, oh, that's it. Maybe that's.
But it's always the same maps, but they have like a randomly generated level. So it's like always the same, but maybe slightly different when you're going through it, possibly.
Right, but the system plays the part the same all the time. And the player characters all in there doing whatever they do, but they're still all following general narratives, say from their astrology chart, which is built in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's the only thing that pretty much every culture has in common is the stars. Like we all have the same stars. We all have the same solar cycles. Like that's the thing that grounds us. So
right.
Who knows?
And we don't even know how many civilizations there were.
Yeah, it's just madness. And it seems like with Graham Hancock getting more and more vindicated every day. It's crazy with that Greenland ice sheet. They finally found the impact site of what caused like the Younger Dryas and everything, and potential ancient civil. I don't know. I love that shit.
I'm really fascinated by the amount of people who think that this system that we're in, right, has been hijacked. But the logic, I think, is flawed, because if we created it for us to play in, as God. How could it possibly have been hijacked, and how do we know that the hijacking is not part of the game?
Man, it's part of that level. You gotta
it's just funny.
It could be.
You gotta decipher through it somehow.
And Trump's the end boss.
Maybe. Or maybe he's something that was put in there to show us the sham of everything, to lift the veil. of part of the game.
And the
Maybe.
predictive programming was Biff, and Back to the Future.
That's right.
I just keep thinking of Wizard of Oz. You know, the man
Wizard
behind
of
the
Oz.
curtain. We're all, you know, these controllers are the fucking wizard on a soapbox talking through a microphone. Do not come in.
James, what was the little quote that we said we were going to say every morning when we wake up since the last podcast? Something about whipped cream or Cool Whip.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy.
Cool Whip. Yeah, what the hell was
Something like time for Cool Whip. Time for whipped cream. And that was going to every day when we wake up. I've been doing the I am
Cool Whip
prosperity.
time.
Wait, what have you been saying?
Place, you know, for taffy apple salad. That's about it.
Saying
taffy apple salad.
Yes, I've had taffy apple salad.
I don't think I've had that.
That shit's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty tasty with the
I don't think it's called
marshmallows.
taffy
candy in it?
No, it's Cool Whip apples and peanuts. That's it.
I've had that. Yeah.
I think I was a freshman in high school and I started playing football. I mean, you start doing these 2-a-day practices. So at 6 a.m, you're out there stretching, and this defensive back coach, Mr. Spoler, he was he's got a nice story that goes along with this guy, but
Spoiler the polar.
well, yeah, long story short, with that guy, he ended up marrying a student. But yeah,
That's just like Macron's wife.
that happens probably more than you think. I think she graduated, and then they got married.
Dude, if I could have married my second grade teacher.
Yeah. But dude, he would start out every practice. He'd be like, it's time for a spoiler rhyme. And he'd spit out some tall tale of whatever, He'd be quoting some freaking
White
story.
guy?
Yeah.
This guy white?
Yeah, he's white. Yeah.
Sounds pretty
Poser.
confident.
What poser.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he got caught in school banging that chick.
Man, like
He
a
was a science
boss.
teacher. Yeah. They had the two, you would have 2 science classes, and then in between they'd have the teacher's office. I guess he got busted in there.
Oh, dude, at least take her to the hotel. What the fuck?
But he got canned for sure. But yeah, I think they got married though. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive.
I was saying earlier that I've been doing the affirmations kind of thing where I'll say,
I heard you like to be choked.
I am prosperity in my head.
I am prosperity.
You do that. Okay.
I am prosperity.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's something to kind of fill your head when you just got those moments where you're just not thinking of anything, or if your mind is just going into
I need to start doing that.
senseless kind of places or sad places.
Yeah, just soaking the knowledge in of the shitty sponge in my head, and it's the ether. It's correct. It's.
I just bought a new loofah.
Ooh,
I haven't had a loofah since they came out. I think,
dude, loofahs are great. You get a good.
I always buy the kit, the gift things for Axe, and get the scrubby puppy. It comes with the throw the body shit out, but you get the nice scrubby puppy.
Like combo with a fluffy on one end, and then
not a fluffy animal. It's
it's rough on one end and kind of fluffy.
It's a dog that stays in my shower.
They call them fluffy puppies. It's I don't know what the fuck it is. Kind of mesh, and then there's a buffer on the other side.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah.
I use it for my my rear end.
I use it for my whole body.
That one's for my rear end, and my regular loofahs for the rest of my body. I don't.
Yeah, there's got to
I
be
use a loop on the tip of my penis,
just the
you just hanging out there.
just like that.
But the other loofah I had was unraveling, and my wife was getting annoyed because it was.
It's just gonna.
Oh, I know what you mean. I've been there. I've been there before. The unravel starts happening, and it just gets crazy.
She's standing in there, and it's just encroaching on her shower, her shower essentially.
My shower is scary.
But you can fix it up with all them tools you got, Jer. Give me a rundown.
Oh,
yeah. Give me a rundown.
yeah.
Let's get some shop talk, Jer.
Shop talk. What do you want?
Well, you've been working on some projects.
Yeah,
I've been
I'm learning wood turning, spindle turning, and I'm learning metalworking by making my own lathe tools, which I've talked about. And I bought a lathe last year for $100 off of Craigslist, and I realized I really needed a drill press, so I picked up a drill press on Black Friday at Harbor Freight for like $65. It was a good
What a deal, yeah.
But I realize now that I probably should splurge for the 10-inch one because the 8-inch is kind of short. There's not a lot of room with a vise to have a big piece of something underneath a large drill bit. And then this weekend, or was it? It was yesterday. Well, the whole weekend I found it on Craigslist again, an estate sale, but it was private, and there was a dude in the neighborhood next to mine,
Nice.
in the next large subdivision down, and he had just one of everything for sale. And I picked up a router table with a router, and a bandsaw, and a Porter cable belt sander, portable belt sander,
Right.
and two of those miter clamp, brand new miter clamp sets for $80.
Oh man.
Did he help you load them in your car?
He did. He carried the bandsaw.
Shit out here.
It wasn't that heavy. None of the stuff's really heavy.
No, they didn't look too. Yeah, they looked user friendly.
The belt sander weighs at least 20 pounds. That's the heaviest thing, probably.
Those are awesome.
It's
come in
heavy.
handy. Everything you do, like you need to get a little edge off of something or deburr something. Yeah, it comes in handy in many, many ways.
Yeah, my next purchase is going to be a belt grinder, a belt sander.
Yeah.
It's like a 4x72-inch one. I had designs to build one, but I haven't set up my forge yet and gotten all my anvil and shit. So I can't really. I don't need my anvil for that, but I need more metalworking experience. But I wanted to do some forge work first, so I'll probably end up buying one. And there's my journey.
Man, that's a beautiful
the
journey.
smart chisel that I put in the.
I did. That's kind of interesting, but you'd have to own one of their lathes to.
Yeah.
And I've got a shitty one that's from 1972.
For the listeners out there, the smart chisel basically it's like wirelessly hooks up to a lathe.
It Bluetooth to the lathe and controls it.
The internet.
Yeah, you can
of things.
operate it. What, say again?
Is it like a CAD system put into it?
No, it's like a remote control.
Yeah. So it's like a wand basically, and you use it as a chisel, and it controls the lathe speed.
A lathe is nothing more than a DC motor that spins.
I was thinking like CNC machine. Like
it's like a CNC machine, but think of it horizontally. So it's just the end mill is sticking out and it doesn't move.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so it just spins and you move the tool.
Yeah.
So it's just a glorified motor that spins.
Right.
And you can remote control the speed easily with some
Well, it did something else. The chisel did it had like maybe a light on it.
Had a light on it, yeah.
Different speeds. But it was pretty
different speeds are just the remote control for the lathe.
Yeah.
Because you can the more voltage the engine gets, the faster it spins.
But it was cool. It was like high-tech woodworking stuff.
Very cool. I think it was, got a guess on the price?
I would say $400.
Smart chisel. Here it is.
Smart chisel.
Chisel my nizzle.
Brought to you by Smart Chisels.
Yeah.
I don't know if they sell them anymore.
And Smart Undies.
Oh, Smart Undies. Yes.
And they don't got the
Bluetooth
tag
underwear.
either. No tag.
So they're not on. I think that's an old.
The video was old. And there was maybe just like a prototype.
Well, this is from April. I mean, it's from this year. Has built-in LED lighting. It's rechargeable. Oh, yeah. Remember the end popped off and you charge it through USB?
I think I remember that. My tool talk, my wife bought me a router and router table combo.
Ooh.
But I won't get to use it until like Christmas.
It's a Christmas present.
Yeah, so it's just sitting in the basement under a towel.
Just taunting you.
I forgot I picked up a real router. It's a regular router. Most heavy ass one.
Handheld router?
Yeah, for like $25 it cost me. It looks brand new. The guy never used it.
Templates out the ass now.
Well, I need a workbench. I really have no space to work now, so I have to clean out my garage more. So he's forcing me to clean my garage out.
Yeah, you need like a big, just big sheet of plywood, make a big desk table out of it.
Oh, I want to build a carpenter's table with dog holes and an end vise and everything.
Good idea.
But that's
shop talk.
Lofty goals.
Lofty goals.
It's like as if God could build a stone so heavy that it couldn't lift it.
Yeah, those things are heavy. But
just
You got to make the work table in order to make other things. But where do you make the work table?
right,
Just
it's a
floating.
chicken and the egg conundrum. It's a dilemma.
All those things.
So I picked up also, I found a lumber yard nearby, and they just happen to have some 4x4 posts, 8-foot posts in a pile that they were dying to get rid of. And I bought one, but there's like 20 more, which I'll probably pick up if I like these. I'm going to make Christmas ornaments for people, for my family, for Christmas.
Don't make them crappy.
Oh, they'll be real crappy.
That's like noodle art.
Crooked dildos.
Throw some noodles in there.
I could, people make snowmen on the lathes, and when they're first roughed out, it really looks like a giant butt plug. Which made me think, why don't people make wooden dildos?
That is
I'm
a good
sure
question.
that
Sounds splintery.
Lacquer varnished, clear coated.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it airtight.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, in more ways than one.
Airtight. Yeah, you can make it airtight.
I don't get it.
You'll make your hole airtight when you put it in.
Oh.
The hole in which it's inserted
Mm.
will become airtight.
Grimsteak, would you want to get the good news segment?
Oh, you need a good news segment jingle? Oh man, we haven't played that one in forever.
Because I was thinking of that like 2 days ago. I was like, man, we used to do a segment and it was about happy or something. I'm like, oh, the good news segment.
Here it comes, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I was thinking
Extra.
What?
I was thinking we got to start doing some crazy, like, just fun segments.
Yeah.
But,
Crazy fun.
I was thinking just where you can kind of. I thought it would be nice to do like a brainstorm, like, or of the band name of the week, where we come up with like a funny band name.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Stupid stuff like that.
Extra. Read all about it. Good news segment. Extra. Read all about it. Good news segment with award-winning journalists Grimsteak and James Cruz. Good news segment.
We got some good news, guys?
Yeah, considering the past two shows, I've kind of spoke about animal cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd redeem myself. I'd redeem myself with stories of animal cruelty and kind of karma, and people kind of getting their karma, or animal cruelty being, turned around into some animal. What's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of cruelty?
Animal love.
Animal love. Those are the animal
I don't know.
love segment. So this is the story of Wheelie Willie. Wheelie Willie. When Willie was only a puppy, he was the victim of severe animal abuse. He was discovered in a cardboard box with a sliced throat. Terrible. And severe spinal injuries. His injuries were treated at the shelter, but his spine was too damaged to be repaired. So he was left a paraplegic. It took a whole year for Willie to get adopted, but when groomer Deborah Turner heard about the poor puppy and learned that the shelter would have him euthanized if no one took him home soon, she stepped in and made him a part of her family. I should have did a little kind of alert there because I remember reading that earlier with the throat, and that was pretty bad. When she first brought him home, she had to carry him everywhere, but Deborah was convinced that she could find a way for Willie to walk around. She tried tying balloons to him and putting him on a skateboard, but when she saw an ad for a wheelchair made for dogs, she knew she had the right answers. Willie immediately thrived in his new chair, and as he started to attract attention from those who saw him, he eventually was featured on Animal Planet and became the star of 2 children's books, How Willie Got His Wheels and How Willie Got His Wings.
Aww.
Willie and Deborah worked together to spread disability awareness and made many appearances at hospitals to bring cheer and inspiration to patients and staff members.
That's a beautiful story.
That's my redemption story.
Redemption. There you go. Yep, better than the elephant and the bat. Those poor guys.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Happens. Man. We got any more good news while we're on the good news segment?
Sure.
Here, let me
hey,
check
man, we
this
made
out.
it to Mars again.
Yeah, allegedly.
I
Yeah,
like it. No, man. Yeah, do some more study in there. Drill some holes.
Yeah. I also heard Elon Musk come out and say that, no, don't worry. The Mars colony isn't just going to be an escape for the rich. Everybody's going to be allowed on it. Uh-huh.
Escape for the rich.
Colony is called Elysium.
Elysium. Oh, man.
Don't worry. Another successful mission to Mars.
Let's see what kind of good news we have right here.
Okay, here. I read this one earlier and I forgot. This is another animal one. It's called Oscar. It's the name of this little story. It's little. You ready?
I was born ready.
I'm ready.
Despite having a boy's name, Oscar is most certainly a girl. Even she isn't the most beautiful cockatoo in the world. She's got a great personality to make up for it. Oscar was found in a crack house during a drug raid. When she was brought into the Broward County Humane Society, she was diagnosed with beak and feather disease, and vets estimated that she would only live another 6 months. That was 14 years ago from the time of this article. Since that time, Oscar has served as the unofficial mascot of the shelter, showing that the society will do whatever it can to help animals no matter what their condition. Her condition is uncomfortable, which causes her to rip out her feathers as soon as they grow, ensuring she is permanently bald with an exception of a small crown on her head. Because the disease is contagious, she can't be put in contact with other birds, so she stays in the front room of the shelter where she greets visitors as they enter. Oscar doesn't let her condition get her down. Shelter workers say she's always talkative, happy, and quite funny.
Aw. I'm having a hard time finding some good news. Having a
They
real
don't put
hard
good
time.
stuff on
No,
the
there's
internet.
no good news.
There's no good news. Sure.
No?
Let's see.
My niece had a snow day on Monday because
Oh,
of the
yeah?
blizzard in Northern Illinois. Yeah,
You guys got hit?
Northern Illinois.
Oh, Northern Illinois.
My parents are right on the southern border, and they got hit too. So
Yeah, we got
Wisconsin.
a little bit. It was mainly rain.
My mom was trying to, my dad's birthday is January 9th, I think. And my mom was trying to have us all meet up in Abbey Springs, Wisconsin. I think it's in Lake Geneva.
Oh yeah.
She was going to rent a condo for the weekend and have a big birthday party up there in January. And everyone's like, are you fucking nuts? It snowed in.
Cool.
Who knows what would happen up there, man?
It's true. Anything could happen.
God,
It gets wild
stuck.
quick.
So she canceled that. Yeah, that's good
man,
news.
saves
Good
a child's
news.
life.
Were you gonna get your dad the reboot of that Oriental
Babysitter.
The Oriental babysitter.
These
all
days.
it's all in sepia tones?
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't remember the woman's name who was in it, but she was really hot. I'm gonna look it up now.
There was a OBDM where they were going off about a porn star lady, I think, who had like one leg or something or other,
Jeez.
one stump or something or other, and they were just going it and talking about all the crazy things that this lady did in these movies.
What did she do?
I think she didn't have like I don't know if she had just like one leg. I can't remember what it was. But
I've seen those amputee sex ones.
yeah, it was pretty wild, and they were just laughing barrels of laughter over it, and they had
Of course.
sound bites of it.
Dude,
Shout out to OBDM.
that
Yes.
was
Shout out to OBDM.
considered, when I was growing up, like in the 80s, that was considered kinky.
Kinky.
Something that isn't
Yeah,
the quote unquote norm. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I remember when there started to be more and more, and then mostly anal porn in the video store. Like it started to dominate. But that was at one point that was taboo, and then everyone was doing it.
Doing it well.
Guys, I totally got lost right now. We're talking about we mentioned insane asylums in the chats.
Oh.
And
I did, yeah.
And dude,
a copy of Oriental Babysitter.
I mentioned you found a what? What did you just say, Jerry?
A full copy of Oriental Babysitter on the
You found it.
Nice.
On beta?
No. Stream. You can stream it.
Oh, sweet. Live those memories. Nostalgia.
I did a lot of research on
such.
asylums. You want me to do a summary of them?
So do I. I got a bunch too. Yeah, we can all take turns.
That chick's name was Linda Wong.
Linda Wong. I mentioned
right.
In a previous show we were talking about ghost stories and going to this insane asylum in Illinois, and apparently it's called the Manteno State Hospital. It's in Manteno, Illinois. And yeah, man, I guess there's like been a lot of ghost things that have happened there and all sorts of shit. Like we went out there hearing stories, but a little Googling showing me that it's pretty interesting. I got to do a little more research on this, but it wasn't just us getting all fucked up and going out to some place. But yeah, you got some stories, guys?
Well, I wanted to give like the history of insane asylums.
Oh, let's hear it.
So I can get I'll do a little quick summary, but I read this a couple times so I can kind of be a little knowledgeable about it. But initially, people that were kind of mental, right? They'd usually be taken care of at like home or in churches. And in Europe, during the Middle Ages, it says here, like one of the first and early insane asylums was in London, and it was called Bedlam. And the history of this Bedlam is pretty interesting because it has a little factoid about it. So it's one of the oldest mental institutions in the world, and it was founded by Christians in 1247. Okay. You guys catch that?
1247. Yep.
And actually the word Bedlam over time became the etymology of the word came from this mental institution, and it came, Bedlam describes a situation that's kind of out of control. So that's kind of the origins of the word Bedlam. It comes from one of these first mental institutions in London. And they didn't have they didn't have a lot of people that stayed at this insane asylum. So they had just, 12 to 20 patients up to the year like 1620. But then after 1620, it started, more mental conditions were on the rise with like modern life and more of a population. So come the 1600s and 1700s, it's when the market kind of became opened up for people to actually have that profession of taking care of people who have like mental conditions. So there were people like undertakers and tutors, and they consider these people madhouse keepers, the people that would run the institutions. So it became kind of like a job to do this. And at the outset, they had methods of dealing with people that had mental problems. The methods they used were kind of pretty, brash. And it says here that some of the keepers adopted management techniques developed by Renaissance horse masters to control stubborn horses. So they would do things like leg irons and manacles on.
Those were Stormy Daniels' ancestors.
Jesus.
Yeah. So this is like 16. This is like the evolution, and it goes back and forth between, treating people with with mental conditions, treating them humanely, and then going back and forth towards treating them like they're, crazy and putting them in restraints and things like that. So in the 1790s, this guy named William Tuke, he's a businessman. He opened up a place called the York Retreat, where he got rid of the restraints and the coercion, and his methods were more of like a moral treatment. So they they would just watch over the patients, just surveil them a little bit more rather than, putting them in manacles and this and that. So there was kind of the new methods were to like treat people morally and understand that they're not sick, or that they're mentally sick, that they're not like criminals,
Yeah.
Right.
But the more and more people were getting shoved into these mental institutions, and they were saying that they were getting all the success and that people were being reformed, but it wasn't true. They were kind of glossing over that it was just people were still kind of crazy, So in 1800 and 1900, more and more of these institutions are getting built. There's a lady named Dorothea Dix. She was kind of an advocate for building more of these asylums and making them more like pretty and places where people who are there can do like therapy and work in gardens and this and that, right? But by the end of the 1800s is when they kind of reverted back into being more, mean or less humane.
Yeah.
And going back to putting people in restraints and things like that. So it's like early 1900s.
I wonder if these shifts in how they treated them had to do with like if an incident happened, like if one of these insane people may have murdered somebody and they're like, nope, fuck it, we're going back to the old ways. Like I wonder if that's
it's more that they used. I think in the 1900s when like the Rockefeller influence came in, they became more of a eugenicist playground,
right?
Where they would test and torture and stuff like that.
And that's what I wanted to get into. So it says here, like in the 1890s, the majority of patients began leaving in coffins, so they go there to kind of die, and they were getting overcrowded, and they returned to the old techniques of straitjackets, seclusion, and sedative drugs. But then I did a little bit of research on electroconvulsive therapy, and that's one of and lobotomies. This goes hand in hand with lobotomies. Do you guys have a sense of what electroconvulsive therapy is?
It's electroshock.
Oh yeah,
therapy.
electric shocks, blast and
What
zap
kind
in the
of
brain.
lobotomies?
I didn't read too much into lobotomies just because I feel people have good, like a general knowledge of those.
They do it through your nose or your eye, your tear duct.
But with the convulsive therapy, it had origins in giving people this drug called metrazole or camphor. You ever hear of those?
No.
And these are kind of like stimulants that just basically put people into that give them seizures.
Camphor's in bug spray, or it's got a menthol smell to it.
So it says here, convulsive therapy was introduced in 1934 by a Hungarian neuropsychiatrist. His name's Ladislas J. Meduna. And he was thinking that schizophrenia and epilepsy or schizophrenia could be treated by getting people, getting them into these epileptic states, right? He was thinking that he says here that he believed mistakenly that schizophrenia and epilepsy were antagonistic disorders, that they were on the opposite sides of the spectrum or something. Does that kind of make sense? No,
Yeah, I get that. No, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So they were thinking that when you put these people in these fits, get them in these seizures, that it like cures them of their schizophrenia or any
It's
other.
It's like a reset button.
But using these strange drugs that kind of just really put your body into like convulsions, basically, right?
It's crazy.
So in 1938, there's these two guys, Ugo Cerletti.
For mosh pits.
Say again?
Nothing. Go ahead.
So in 1938, there's these two Italian professors, Ugo Cerletti and Lucio Bini. They started introducing electric shock to administer or to make these convulsions happen. So this is what the electroconvulsion therapy is. They were inspired here, said Cerletti had noticed a shock to the head produced convulsions in dogs. So he goes, hey, these dogs are going into convulsions. We can maybe do this instead of giving them this chemical or whatever to make them go in convulsions. We can just shock people instead.
What was the guy's name?
Cerletti, Ugo Cerletti.
Isn't there some lady named Cerlata? That's another radio show, like Space.Radio or Space Boy.
I don't know.
Cerlana.
Solana.
Yep.
Okay, never mind.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I've talked to her a bunch of times.
Me too.
And the same guy, Serletti, he got the idea to use electroshock on humans, came to Serletti when he saw how pigs were given an electric shock before being butchered to put them in an anesthetized state.
Oh, man.
So they just thought that instead of doing that, it'd be cheaper and more efficient and a little less scary to just do the shock rather than giving people chemicals to put them in convulsions.
And just for the record, being in an anesthetized state is not a bad thing.
Sounds peaceful. So they started realizing that maybe that instead of curing schizophrenia, that it could be more for depression, that doing this would shock the brain and make you a little bit more happy or something like that. It says here one of the positive side effects to the treatment of this electroshock was retrograde amnesia.
Oh, man.
So the patients that actually got shocked would kind of forget that they were actually being like shocked and having all this like crazy trauma to go through this treatment. So they say that's a positive side effect of it. So they said that the shock was a little more cheaper and more convenient, less frightening. And these two guys, Serletti and Benny, were nominated for a Nobel Prize for this treatment. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention just about electroconvulsion therapy. It says here in 1940, the U.S. Was using it a lot. Germany and Austria really were big into using the ECT, they call it, electroconvulsion therapy, in the 40s and 50s. And there were two kind of techniques for this electroshock. There was one called the unmodified electroconvulsion therapy and modified. And the modified one is basically they'll give you muscle relaxers so that your body doesn't go nuts. And they were finding a problem with the unmodified, that people's bones were getting dislocated. So that their long bones would get dislocated and they get fractures.
Jeez.
So they realized that, hey, we got to give people muscle relaxing to go hand in hand with this electroconvulsion therapy so that people aren't leaving here with like broken bones. And that kind of brings us up to like the 60s and 70s, and there was an anti kind of psychiatry movement. So in the 60s and 70s, people were just pretty anti insane asylums and mental institutions, because they one aspect of it was that people thought that women were being put into these insane asylums because they maybe lived different lifestyles.
Witches.
Like they wouldn't go into getting married and being kind of housewives, that if they lived some other kind of free-wheeling lifestyle, that they would be thrown into these institutions because they're not following the herd, you would say.
Man.
And you guys all know kind of 60s, 70s,
Right?
80s.
And now they're making them pay taxes for titty pics on Snapchat. So what the hell? Times haven't changed that much.
What about like Chatterbait? Why Snapchat? Why are they picking on Facebook?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because it's PayPal? Is Chatterbait PayPal also?
I don't know. But who cares what the mechanism is? Oh, because the banksters don't control PayPal, allegedly.
Maybe. Allegedly. Banksters control everything. Sorry, Felix.
Well, so that brings us up to like 60s, 70s, and 80s of when we're thinking about insane asylums and mental institutions, just like socially and kind of, the government system. We kind of just thought that there's just too big of a bureaucracy of all these mental institutions and are putting too much money into them. And now all the people are out on the street kind of thing, right?
And now we're all bitching about mental health of the sign and times of mass shooters and all that crap.
Because everyone's roaming.
They don't have anywhere to go, or they're not getting the proper care.
And now the proper care is like medication. And
you got to be on SSRIs and shit. Yeah.
So apparently, Beefsteak in the chats says on Chatterbait, you got to buy credits, and then you use those credits. So you're buying it through the Chatterbait program.
So you're buying a virtual.
Yeah. So these women are getting paid through the Chatterbait program. It might not be necessarily through like the PayPal directory or something. Okay. So like almost every monthly
subscription porn site has that kind of shit going on, where they're paying out the models through whatever mechanism.
And he claims he heard from a friend. I'm sorry.
So what this is just telling me that Snapchat needs to go to a centralized model to avoid losing all that business.
Yeah.
They can get a cut. They should go to a coin system or something. Or just shut the whole thing down because it's a piece of shit. But whatever.
Or they could do a spin-off.
They could do that. They could do a spin-off.
They fired the Oculus guy. So the guy who came up with the Oculus, I forget his name, Miller, I think.
Oculus Rift.
What's the name? Oculus Rick?
I don't remember his name.
Optimus Rick.
I have Miller in my head, but I don't know what it's like. Tim Miller. Anyway, the guy who was running Oculus when Facebook bought them was incorporated into Facebook, and he was fired basically for being a Trump supporter.
Wow.
Palmer Luckey?
That might be it. Google, fired. We're lucky.
Dude, I saw an ad. Speaking of the Oculus, it was
Palmer. It was Palmer Luckey.
$1,500 McLaren branded Oculus Rift, like Oculus setup, like the VR setup. It's like they're just basically the article was stating like how much it like almost devalues something like that when you're trying to get people to buy these things, and then you make one for $1,500 because there's a McLaren logo on it, which is a car company.
Yeah,
yeah.
To bring it back to the insane asylums,
we'll come back around.
I know, I got the whole thing too. Yeah, sorry.
I've actually played a VR game of being in an insane asylum where you're like strapped into a chair and they roll you down the hallway of an insane asylum, and then the orderly actually like pushes you down the stairs, and you're on this like wheelchair strapped in, and you're going and you're going down the stairs. And there's just all these like creepy people freaking out in the rooms and stuff like that.
Dude, that's crazy.
But that was my little summary of the history of insane asylums. I did my research.
The last lobotomy was in like 1967. They were still doing them. Like, that's insane. Completely insane.
But now they do have a lot of those like newer machines too that do the electro.
Yeah, the brain erase or something.
No,
that was just on OB.
They're called TENS devices. What are you talking about, right?
Something like that. I just know generally of them. I don't know.
So it's something electronic neural stimulator.
I think I've actually seen an ad recently for a newer one that you put a little headband on your.
Well, they just did they did something on OBDM. They did a little clip about it. About this new lobotomizing machine. It just like puts you in a permanent good mood or something. Like,
that's what lobotomy does. It wipes out your frontal lobe. You don't really think too much.
Man.
Okay, what was that? What was that called?
There's a lot of teledildonics chat going on in the chat room right now, and I'm really happy.
Real quick, the TENS devices are used in some bizarre sex stuff too.
Oh,
electric stimulation, because you can put. Have you seen ads for those devices which allegedly, give you a 6-pack abs if you wear it? And it's like it.
Yep. Yeah. They zap your abs. Yep.
Yeah. It's
aren't those called?
Go ahead.
Never. I had a stupid joke.
Oh.
I was going to say, wasn't that called the Cliff Wall machine?
Your mouth.
Stimulates your ears.
Bites your. Anyway. So you can get like cock rings with wired up, and you can get urethral inserts and dildos and whatever that all can be. You can change the pattern. It's because it's a pulsed electrical thing. It's not just one thing. It's like like
binaural.
No, it's a pulsed electrical shock to whatever part of your body it's touching.
Yeah,
but it's low voltage. It feels like when you touch a battery to your tongue. It's something like that, but like on the head of your dick.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, I've never done it. It's just I know about it.
I just saw an ad for this recently. It's called the Fisher Wallace stimulator, and it's like a headband, Comes with a headband and a little pouch, little controller, maybe some like little jelly and little diodes you put on your head, and it's supposed to take away anxiety. And it goes for $700.
I'd rather have a God helmet.
Treats
God
depression,
helmet?
anxiety, and insomnia.
I think it's just a big
And
placebo.
Yeah, the God helmet like puts you in DMT space.
The logo is like real like flashy, or it's a good it's pretty simple logo.
Some nice graphic design art.
FW Fisher Wallace. Brought to you by Fisher Wallace.
The God helmet. It was an experimental apparatus originally called the Corrin helmet after its inventor Stanley Corrin.
Is that the thing that Rick Moranis was wearing in Ghostbusters?
It looks very similar.
Pretty much.
This spaghetti strainer with a bunch of DC batteries stuck to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Doggy, I got a milk bone here somewhere.
I got a milk bone. I'm looking for the keymaster.
You think he'll ever go on Grimerica?
Oh, that'd be
Rick
awesome.
Moranis? No, I don't think so.
It would just be bizarre.
Join the God Squad. He's way off in left field.
The God Squad. Him and who's the other guy from? Holy shit, my brain Kurt Cameron.
Cameron.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like my brain completely shut off. I couldn't even remember. Was it Family
Kurt
Ties?
Cameron-
Is that Doogie Howser?
No,
Family
Doogie
Ties
Howser.
was Michael J. Fox, wasn't it?
Ferris Bueller. Kirk
No,
Cameron.
Ferris Bueller was that was
No, that he was in Ferris Bueller.
Which doesn't matter. We
No,
know
Which
that.
is a good segue.
No, wait.
No, we have
God
to.
helmet.
Yeah, we have to talk about.
But wait, let me talk about the Segway first.
Like the thing you ride around on?
No.
Oh.
Weren't we gonna do a three name people battle?
We haven't even finished the other
but
one.
nobody
go
researched that because no one answered me when I suggested it.
Oh, okay. We need to regroup.
Go back
Coming
to
up
Guy.
after this song by Felix, we're gonna do Insane Asylum.
After the God helmet.
Yes.
Wait, we're still talking God helmet.
We're doing the God helmet?
Please, yeah.
I'm on the Wikipedia.
Okay, do the God helmet and then we'll do
Just read about the experience.
Is that a
Experiences. Most reports from
that a-
Personger's
wait,
lab consist of people sensing presences. People often interpreted these to be that of angels, a deceased being known to the subject, or a group of beings of some kind. There have also been reports in which the participant experienced what they perceived as God. Personger's reports that at least 80% of his participants experience a presence besides them in the room. A presence? And others report less evocative experiences of another consciousness or sentient being. So these people are feeling stuff.
Yeah.
The Christmas presents?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Christmas presents in your head.
It does sound like the DMT, it puts you in that hallucinogenic state.
Maybe that, if you listen to like Terrence McKenna talk about it and then listen to Joe Rogan talk about it, it doesn't sound like it's a physical place, or it doesn't sound like it could exist in 3D space.
Boric.
Yeah. It's it's something that exists at the same time we exist. We're just not seeing it. We're not perceiving that dimension.
As far as we know, that could be what people say is our higher self,
True.
Maybe.
That could be as much as we can comprehend of being part of the collective, of, the one consciousness, if that's what that is. Maybe that's our interpretation of what that's like. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've never done it, so
Yeah.
I can't really speak to it.
supposedly.
Supposedly.
That's what one would
Supposedly.
say.
What
else can we mispronounce?
You guys ready for a jam?
Yeah,
No,
let's
you
play
missed
some
the
tunes.
last one.
We can regroup after this. We'll get our thoughts
all right,
together.
let's do it.
Tell me about the guitar sounds okay.
Wait, at ISM in our chat says, I wonder what kind of how you say it?
Isama, maybe?
Isama. Yeah, Isama. Isama. I wonder what kind of presence schizophrenics would sense with the use of that helmet, basically,
Yeah. Would it exacerbate the symptoms? Yeah.
Yeah, would it? Yeah.
Just make it
Hell,
crazy.
What would you? I don't even know. Like,
Slenderman.
they might be able to tell you in real time, like what they're seeing or something.
Maybe.
It'd be interesting. Break it down like the fourth wall, like a direct feed.
You guys hear that?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Okay. So this song is entitled SSU, and it's not my song. It was a friend's song of mine, and his name's Sam. So it was SSU stood for Sam's Song Untitled. And the other day I was talking to Mr. Owl in the chat, and it kind of popped into my head. He mentioned something about sunny side up eggs. And I was thinking that the SSU could stand for sunny side up.
It could.
Could, but it doesn't.
Title it, take the song, make it yours.
That's how I ever like my eggs.
So it's just a good song. It's kind of got like a sort of alternative country folky kind of sound, but it'll just be like a guitar and singing. Combination of the singing and guitar. It's about kind of breaking up. It's hard to do. Okay. Here we go. You fussing, you fighting when you come around. Won't be enough. Well, come on and get me. I'm homesick and I'm bored. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Drive me to both sunsets. Just one more. Well, Rose comes out and the nighttime drops and she falls. In the creeps and the crawls of the night, on a wrong turn down the road. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Will drive me to both sunsets. Just one more. Well, why do you hide in your eyes, in your dreams, in the night? Sarah left the light on in the daytime in a room so bleak. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Drive me to both sunsets. Just one more. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Drive me to both sunsets. Just one more. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Drive me to both sunsets. Just one more. Well, just one kiss will roll me over. Drive me to both Sunsets, just one more. Just one more.
Oh,
Great.
shit.
Great jam. I like that. Thanks, Felix.
Does your guitar have an amp jack?
It does.
Can you mix that into your audio?
I could, and it might sound better, yeah?
It's not that it doesn't sound good, it's just that it gets broken up because of the or you could actually turn off the noise cancellation of Zoom.
Oh, we went through that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I maybe next time I'll try it with directly into the guitar.
I thought of it because someone else suggested some. What was it? Piezo mic on his ukulele. And I'm like, oh, I bet he's got an electric amp thing.
Yeah, next time I'll do that. It might just be a little bit more of a truer signal.
Maybe. Sounds beautiful though.
That was a good jam.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, not my song. It's fun to play.
I know. I was gonna say. I mean, you're a good jam that your buddy wrote, man.
Yeah.
What's funny is like I always forget the words, and then so like right before the third verse, I was sitting in my head going like, "What's the next freaking line?" But it's nice because you have like the little pauses in the song where it's just guitar. So I'm sitting there thinking like, "Okay, yeah, yeah." I got a full band version of that song if you'd want to.
Wow.
Yeah, send it my way.
Play it. Yeah, make it play at the end.
Mm-hmm. Man, good stuff. So we're all regrouped.
Insane Asylum.
Oh yeah, we're still on Insane Asylums. You got some stuff, James. Let's hear it.
Just some stories that I went digging around, and I found just insane asylum stories. Kind of a flashback to last night. Everything we kept saying was insane related to Insane Clown Posse.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of ICP talk going on.
It got insane. Yeah, definitely got insane. But yeah, so supposedly, let's see. Here we go. I think I'm on Reddit is where I found all these, which are great. Just crazy, insane asylum stories. Many decades ago, my mother and a friend had it. My mother's friend had a severely handicapped, severely incapacitated adult child in a mental home. He always complained that the orderlies were out to get him, but his parents dismissed his complaints because, well, he was crazy. Turns out the son died, and then the autopsy found dirt in his lungs. An investigation followed, and he was killed when an orderly restrained him by pushing his face into a potted plant, and he sucked the dirt into his lungs, which basically suffocated. So his father wrote a local paper, which it made him liable. He just basically lambasted the shit out of the mental home. And then the home sued him, and he lost everything. And then the guy's dad committed suicide. And then a few years later, his wife died alone. It's like, that's pretty freaking sad, but I thought that was pretty freaking, yeah. Like, I mean, there's so many stories that are, but then you get the people just trying to help, like this next story, that are just, like this guy, I worked at a hospital, an inpatient psychiatric hospital. There was this boy. I think he was about 15. He originally came to our hospital in the wintertime. He had been aggressive and really depressed. But other than that, he was your average teenager. A couple of months later, he was re-hospitalized. This time, he had a completely different personality. His effect was all wrong. He was cold, distant, and he hardly remembered me. One night after I had gone home, he went to use the bathroom. After being in there for like 20 minutes, the staff went looking for him. With some verbal prodding, he reluctantly opened the door to the bathroom. There he stood, completely naked, except for the feces, which painted him from head to toe. Oh, and the 2 payday-sized turds he furiously gripped in each hand.
Jeez.
And
Baby Ruth's probably better.
Yeah. And then he gestured all Matrix style, like, to the staff with some sort of Neo, like, come here gesture, like pointing over to him, like with the little finger wave over to you, get over here. And the staff donned their hazard suits and then bull charged them.
Wait, did one of the guys say, "You got to be shitting me"?
You gotta be shitting me. Yeah. He had smeared poop all over the walls, all the light switch. They sedated and restrained him that night. When I came in the next day, the nurse told me what had happened. I had went to check on him since I had previously established a relationship and real rapport with him. He proceeded to ask me if I had ever been raped and had sex with a man or seen God. Yeah, that was when I really understood the power of psychosis. And I now have more empathy and understanding and respect for all of my majorly mental ill clients. Dude. Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah. Like, and then it's kind of funny. They do these edits to the stories, and they all that they broke it down into worked at a hospital, met a kid. He's cool. 2 months later, comes back very different. One night, smears poop all over the walls / himself. Staff dons hazmat suits, tackles the kid as he's swiping poop at him. Next day, he is religious and asks me about being sodomized. Yeah.
It's a good summary.
It's a good summary, right?
It was all that prodding.
Yeah, it was all the prodding and poking. Oh, a man with let's see, here we go. A man with severe schizophrenia and a degenerative spine, clearing a 3 to 4 foot counter just to sit on the floor in the middle of the nursing station because Arthur Saldine, the supreme being, told him to. Same guy tried to bite off his own fingers because we wouldn't let him climb the counter, so he needed to appease Arthur some way. Having to remove plastic cups from the adolescent unit because one of the worst borderline girls I have ever worked with kept trying to cut herself with them. A bipolar patient presenting with psychotic features, accusing me of being Cthulhu, trying to steal his soul. Later became his favorite staff member after all the mania. Schizophrenia, 13-year-old, looked like Chucky, for real. That was the nickname the staff gave her. Her parents didn't believe in medication, so I watched her laugh maniacally and respond to non-existent stimuli for extended periods of time.
It's demons. All demons.
Everything's demons.
Just so many. Every person's like, I got 100 stories. These are all from people that worked in these places, and that, or like a family member or something.
Jeez.
Oh my god. Yeah, like once a 60-year-old woman whispered to my coworker, "I need to show you something." She walked into the bathroom, came back, and handed my friend a bracelet while saying, "I hid it in my vagina." I've seen lots of shit thrown and smeared. That's mostly dementia patients with or people detoxing from alcohol. By the way, it's very hard to get shit from under your fingernails. And the sex, you wouldn't believe, or you would be very surprised how fast people can have sex. I have been there when 2 patients had sex on a washer in less than 2 minutes. I don't think they knew each other's names, and I'm pretty sure no one came.
Just ninja sex.
Just in and out. Wow.
Man.
I accept your challenge.
Right? 2 minutes or less. Dude, it's just so just one after another. I mean, oh God. I don't even, I mean, some are really long. I'm trying to get some medium-sized stories here.
You guys, can I?
Yeah, if anybody else has got something they want to say, then I can load up some more.
I heard a podcast that recounted this guy's story. You guys ever hear of Billy Milligan?
No. Billy
Well,
Milligan.
at the end of the story,
That sounds made up.
Not Billy. No, it's true. In the end, this guy was the first American found not guilty due to dissociative, like personality
identity disorder, DID.
Identity disorder. So here's a little summary of this guy's case. He's a pretty like crazy guy. Did some bad things. Had multiple personalities. And there's people that like recount his personalities and how they were like spot on. How like when he'd switch into these other personalities, they were like super believable. That they had like he had different accents, and he'd really stick to the script. And they thought that he was just so intelligent that he was just faking it all to be let off the hook. But this is a little summary of this guy's story. From October 14th to the 26th, 1977, 3 women around Ohio State University were kidnapped, taken to a secluded area, robbed, and raped. One woman claimed the man who raped her had a German accent, while another one claimed that despite kidnapping and raping her, he was actually kind of a nice guy. However, one man committed the rapes, 22-year-old Billy Milligan. After his arrest, Milligan saw a psychiatrist and he was diagnosed with DID, dissociative identity disorder. Altogether, he had 24 different personalities. So when the kidnapping and rapes happened, Milligan's defense attorney said it wasn't Billy Milligan who was committing the crimes. 2 different personalities were in control of his body. Reagan, who was a Yugoslavian man, and Adalana, who was a lesbian.
Believed in trickle-down economics.
Yeah. The jury agreed, and he was the first American found not guilty due to DID. He was confined to a mental hospital until 1988 and released after experts thought that all the personalities had melded together. In 1981, Daniel Keyes, the award-winning author of Flowers for Algernon, released a book about Milligan's story called The Minds of Billy Milligan, an upcoming film based on his story. The Crowded Room will reportedly star Leonardo DiCaprio. He died in 2014, but not to give this guy like, glory or whatever, but the people recounted how the certain personalities were attacking other personalities, and they were saying, don't tell the authorities what we did or this and that. I can't remember specifics, but it's a really interesting story of kind of this guy's psyche and the people that like gave him therapy afterwards and found out his story and really picked his brain, thought that he was just either super intelligent or just like just had some crazy disorder. I'll have to find a reference to where I heard more about this.
I read a book in the 70s. I was really fascinated by multiple personality disorder, which DID, same thing, been renamed. And there was this book called The Five of Me, The Autobiography of Multiple Personality. And this guy had 5 personalities, and the book was from his doctor's point of view. I don't remember, but it was really interesting. I actually wrote to the guy, and he answered me back, which was cool. That's all I got.
Crazy.
Oh man, handwritten letters.
Yeah, a handwritten letter, yeah. Dude, when I was, how old was I? First or second grade, right? So what is it? How old would that make me?
Maybe 7? Like 8 or 9, 7 or 8, 7 or 8.
I was in first grade at the age of 6.
Yeah, so probably 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So either in 71 or 72, I was 6 or 7 years old. I mail ordered a fucking chameleon, like a comic book ad.
That's great.
It came to my house, and it was alive.
Whoa.
It was crazy. It was a little
70s.
cardboard box with holes in it. It had like cedar chips. The mailman, I remember this vividly. Our mailman's name was Cecil, this old black dude. And I was at the mailbox when he brought it. He goes, something alive in there. I told him it was a chameleon. He goes, what kind of contraption is that? It was so awesome.
And they called you jive ass turkey?
No.
That'd have been great.
He was so awesome. Oh, I miss that dude.
You jive ass turkey.
What kind of contraption is that?
He's more like Brady on Sanford and Sons. Like,
oh, that's great.
that kind.
I heard that story of Billy Milligan on Mysterious Universe. They did a pretty good in-depth retelling of like that guy's story.
That's a good
Really
show
good.
where they do actual show prep and put on a good show.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that movie and book, Sybil?
Sybil, I know of it, but I've
That
never
was
seen
a
the movie
multiple
or
personality person who was like half evil, half good. Mostly evil.
You know, Roseanne has multiple personality disorder.
Is that why she got fired?
Like 20 or
Maybe.
something, right?
Yeah, dude, she
Like-
has a ton of different personalities. And they've it's like they've known about it since the 90s when she came out with it, but it's
Nothing they can do about
crazy. Yeah.
Just because her name's so long.
Yeah,
it. I watched a
Roseanne.
movie. There's a movie out called Jonathan. Have you seen this movie?
I saw it on there.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it yet.
It's about a guy who's got a split personality, and they worked it out. So I don't want to give the movie away, but basically, they consider themselves brothers, and they share the day. So they sleep for 4 hours at a time or something like that, and then they get to work for half the day. So one guy gets the night, one guy gets the day. It's kind of weird.
You just spoiled it.
No, I didn't at all.
You said 4 hours. Now I know. Like,
No, I don't remember the timing. One guy gets a day. They each get 12 hours, but they have to sleep, a full day for the whole body because they're just one body, two consciousness.
conscious-ish.
Consciousness. It's a conscious niche.
Oh, did you guys ever see that M. Night Shyamalan movie where isn't there like one with multiple like a personality disorders or like they're in like
Split.
Yeah, did you guys see that one?
I never saw it. I haven't seen it.
It almost scared me. I didn't want to see it. Just like seeing the previews, I'm like, I think that'd probably scare me.
My favorite movie
Split?
is Unbreakable.
Oh, they're making another one.
Are they? Yeah. It's called Glass,
Glass. Yeah.
which has the dude from Split in it.
And Unbreakable has been on like every week now. It's on. They played on Vice.
It's a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Even though Shyamalan and Ding Dong's a dickhead. What was that? The Happening? What the fuck was that?
I don't think I ever saw that one. The
The
Happening.
trees are killing people? Oh, man. It was just...
Yeah, he peaked at Sixth Sense. There's been nothing good since.
Dude, I saw that movie in the theater, right? With my wife at the time. And it wasn't more than 15 minutes into the movie, and she leans over and goes, Bruce Willis is dead.
Just spoiled the entire thing.
She did that all the time. I hated it.
The worst.
Did you drop a junior mint in your hand?
There was do you remember the kids in the hall?
Yes.
Okay, so they had this Hecubus dude who like ruined things. Remember that?
No.
I'll try out. The show was they were talking about movies, and have you ever seen the movie? What's it called? Presumed Innocent with Harrison Ford. It's a good movie.
No.
Anyway, it's got a
I'm sorry.
huge plot twist. Yeah, huge plot twist. And on Kids in the Hall, they totally ruined the plot twist in the movie. The movie had been out maybe like a week or 2 weeks, and Hecubus comes out, and these shows were when they were broadcast for the first time,
Right.
He comes out and he goes, have you seen Presumed Innocent yet? And the guy goes, no. He goes, his wife did it. Ruined the fucking movie.
My
That's
friend
great.
ruined Usual Suspects for me.
Usual Suspects? Man.
Yeah. So I never watched it after he told me the ending because I'm like,
It's still a good movie.
there'd be no point in watching it.
I like to see movies that, like, the poster intrigues me or the title, and then have no idea what it's about. Like, I like the surprise of it. Oh, I'm weird.
What about Mystic River? You ever see that?
I did not. Isn't that a pizza? That's Mystic Pizza. Never mind. Mystic River. Yeah, I may have seen that. It was like a Gus Van Sant style movie.
Ping pong pizza.
Trying to see if I got that mixed up.
Like My Private Idaho, or you ever see Drugstore Cowboy with Matt Dillon? That's a good movie. Speaking of,
what's that one movie? It was like a Stephen King one, maybe, where they're like in a cabin and they realize there's like an alien in the guy's butt.
Oh, Dream Snatcher, Dream Catcher.
Yeah, that one. I think I was getting Mystic River mixed up with.
They got a weird name, like the Willy Wickers or the. Fuck.
Dingleberries?
No, it's got a stupid Stephen King name. The G. Willikers.
I think the moment I think I saw the guy had the alien come out of his butt, I think I turned it off after that. And that was one of the movies where I didn't know what it was about, and we just put it on.
I don't think it's Dreamcatchers. It's something else.
It's Dreamcatcher.
Yeah. Okay, it is Dreamcatcher. 2003 with Morgan Freeman. I'm Morgan Freeman.
Dreamcatcher.
Thomas Jason.
You guys know what it's about?
No.
Yeah.
So I think they all just go to a cabin for a hunting trip. It says they all acquired telepathic powers.
Ooh.
I might have watched the whole one. Yeah, they all got telepathic powers, and they all kind of end up at this place because of synchronicity or whatever.
And they were all like bullying some kid who died or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or, yeah, there was some subplot where they had negative karma, put it that way.
Something here.
And that got resolved.
Yeah, there might be some like time warps. It's actually probably a pretty cool movie if I went back.
There's another one I'm thinking of then, where like there were aliens in the sky that were eating reality or something like that.
Oh no! All these guys they befriend the guy who has like a handicap. His name's Duddits.
Yeah,
and because they befriend him, they have these powers maybe.
Guys, I don't want to completely derail the conversation, but I'm going to have to do it. NASA is going to make an announcement that we're going to be back on the moon sooner than you think. So let's let that sink in for a minute.
You know why?
This comes right after Russia said, "Hey, we're going to go up to the moon. We're going to go up to the moon and prove if you guys actually went."
Right. Right. And NASA's going to go up there and fuck up the site where they're supposed to, because they never went.
Yes. Like I think that's what's going on.
Oh, go ahead, look all you want. There's some
do flybys and chuck flags out the window and shit.
Leaf blowers.
That means
leaf blowers.
That means they have to build a lunar rover and all the other shit that they left there over the 6 or 7 missions they had.
Yeah,
they gotta go find that shit.
I mean, okay, if it's not really there, if it's not there, and Russia goes up, that's fucked.
Oh, we gotta get that happen. We got to get Leonidas on a movie plot about this.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's called Capricorn 1. They made it years ago.
It's called the double hoax.
That goes back to how they've made every movie, and everything's a reboot. Everything's been made.
Yeah,
dude. But you know what? I read this that the power available to the astronauts on the moon was the equivalent of 8 D-cell batteries. That was the amount of electricity they had, right, in a battery, because there's no plugs up there. Yet they were able to call Nixon on the phone and talk to him.
Dude,
allegedly, that's what they claim that's true. How can that be possible?
Or what if
teledildonics?
What if we've been on the moon this entire time? We just put it there.
What if the moon's just a rendering on the ceiling?
Oh man!
You ever see the scene in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where they
bust through?
Yeah. They teleport to the TV.
Yeah, Mike TV. Hey, I'm on TV, Mom. Hey, look at me. I'm on TV. That kid was a little shit.
Kind of like that.
I got one more insanity story.
time I met Sidney Sheldon.
No, who's Sidney Sheldon?
Sidney Sheldon's an author. He's written a bunch of huge books, which I can't remember anything. One of them's called The Master of the Game, but he's also a TV screenwriter, and he came up with the concept for Gilligan's Island. That was his show. I think he also did I Dream of Jeannie and a couple other ones. Like he was one, he was dude. And I met him, I don't remember where, somewhere in Chicago. And I had this theory. I was young. I was like 17 or 18. I had this theory that Gilligan's Island was that each character represented one of the 7 deadly sins. And I thought it was obvious, right? I'm like, oh, this is obvious. So I confronted him on it. And I'm like, so dude, did you or did you not model him? He said he did not do that on purpose.
Wow. Oh, man. So it could have been a download, but those archetypes just formed anyway.
That's right. That's right. Thus began my synchro-mystic journey.
That's just synchro right there. I just started season 3 of 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix.
Oh man, ripping through it, James.
Anime bug lately, dude. Yeah.
Dude, I'm happy.
It's getting so bad I can recognize voiceover characters from different series.
Yeah,
7 Deadly Sins. I highly recommend it if you're in anime or any of that, that whole genre. But never really heard of it. Like, I'm sure it was probably all based off a comic book or something.
Oh, dude, they're all based off of mangas.
Yeah, but oh man, it's very, very badass. That's probably my favorite one so far.
I want to say
I watched Alt Noah .0, which was really good. That was the crossover between 2 characters. And I watched I finished all of Voltron.
Did you watch One Punch Man?
Oh my god.
I haven't made it. Yeah.
Dude, that's literally the whole thing that got me back into the anime bug. Was like over a year ago, Felix, you mentioned One Punch Man in the chats, and I watched it, and ever since then I've just been binging anime.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I've been testing it out, man. So far 7 Deadly Sins has been the most, like, I'd say anime styled anime. Like most of the stuff I like the more space driven things. That's I guess what I was kind of drawn to. So I watched like because I remember growing up watching like Voltron and Robotech. So I started with those again, and then they have a whole new series, like 7 seasons of Voltron, which is, I mean, yeah, that's probably geared towards younger, but there's a lot of, there's a nostalgia aspect. Yeah, like we were talking earlier about the nostalgia stuff with these throwback things, and there's one right there with the Voltron stuff. And they used to have this phrase that they would say, like, thermodimers go, like they had this saying when they would power up the lions to form Voltron. Time for whip cream. They never said that through the entire show until the last episode when they did something crazy, and then something else. Anyone out there if you've ever watched it, but they finally said it. And it totally like that was I didn't even realize that until they said it. I'm like, oh my god, that's a massive flashback. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So that's what started it. And then I started watching all these other ones. And now, I never watched like these Beyblades or Pokemon, anything like that. Or they're these the One Punch Man, nothing. And then the 7 Deadly Sins is probably the closest thing I've watched to a normal anime one, but I need something that has good voice acting in it because I can't just fucking read shit. That'll kill me.
Does this inspire you to do more like design work?
Oh, so you're watching dubs, James? You're not watching them in the Japanese with subtitles?
No fucking way, dude.
You're not full blown weeb yet, man. Never mind.
No, I'll never probably go that far.
Wait, which way are you supposed to watch it?
Dude, in subtitles with the natural with the Japanese language.
Yeah, man, you get your read on, dog.
I'll take a glance at it.
That Stephen King book I was thinking of that made into a horrible movie was The Tommyknockers.
Tommyknockers, yeah.
Yeah, and it was inspired by an H.P. Lovecraft story.
So, James, is this watching the anime inspiring you to do more kind of graphic work?
Ooh.
I have one project that's supposed to be doing that I need to.
Oh, that album. That Felix, that Felix project.
Wait, you got an album?
No.
Yeah, I got a 20-track rap album coming out.
I hope so.
Yeah, Ohio? You're supposed to be on it. I don't know. I got to get you the lines.
Are you being serious?
I have no clue what I'm gonna do. No, but I do have some projects I'm supposed to be doing that I need to really get on track with. But dude, I got all this media to consume.
You got to clone yourself.
Well, I finished.
Oh yeah, 2 James Cruises.
Pseudo James.
No, I finished.
Your sentence?
No, man, the Netflix, the vampire. What the hell was that one? Not Peaky Blinders. It's a different one. Fuck. What I was watching for me and Jerry, we talked about it the last time we were on.
You talking about Better Call Saul?
Josh Hartnett.
What? I'm not paying attention. What?
The werewolf vampire, Josh Hartnett.
Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful. I finished all that, which is crazy as hell. I finished a new season of American Horror Story Apocalypse, which is all Demon Seed related. Yeah, so I started these animes. I finished some. Now I'm on that one. And I picked up The Fall, which is Gillian Anderson from the X-Files. They're in London-based serial killer type deal. It's a 3-season show.
Stay away from that movie UFO with her in it. It's horrible.
No, I wouldn't hear. Yeah. X-Files, they took off of Netflix, but they played on BBC America on every Friday. They run 4 hours straight every Friday. If anyone's out there looking for X-Files.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What, you work for BBC now or what?
No, that's just what they do play them though on there. The one I have watched some of the new Doctor Who.
It's a chick doctor this time, isn't it? This is real progressive.
Really good. I recommend it. I just haven't watched much more of it.
What show is it?
Doctor Who.
Doctor.
Do
they call it Doctorette? Who?
What is it called, James?
Which one?
Whatever you're talking about.
Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah, the new Doctor Who.
I don't like her. I like her, but I don't like she's in stupid clothes all the time.
She's got that goofy outfit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how bad does that smell? She's always.
It took her like that half of the episode to realize she was a man, or not a man. The first episode, yeah.
Reminds me of Quantum Leap.
This is definitely the social justice warrior.
Yeah, it's a total different take, I would imagine. I've never watched Doctor Who at all until now, and I'm like, I get probably.
They've got a Pakistani girl, a black dude, an old man.
They got them all.
They got the gamut covered because somebody's going to turn up gay on there. I'm sure the doctor is, polysexual. So
yeah, and what else have I watched? God, I don't know.
You watch Quantum Leap?
If I've seen that, I only saw it when it was ever on. I've never went back to that show.
30 years ago.
What about Dark Skies? I somehow just brought up Dark Skies.
Dark Skies.
I watched the first.
There was only one season, I think. I think there was only one season of it.
No, I think there were 2. The Skitters, right?
I don't know. Let's do a little Googling on Dark Skies.
Didn't they call the alien Skitters?
Do you guys think that you go crazy if you looked at yourself in a mirror for a whole day?
Oh, I'm thinking of the movie.
What do you mean, like constantly?
Oh yeah,
if you just put a mirror in front of your face for a full day.
You'll just absorb demons all day.
We should experiment. One of you guys should do that.
It'd be a super self experiment. Exactly, what it would be.
Mushrooms and then do it.
Well, then you would have problems.
Yeah, don't do that.
You eat a nice bowl of cereal of your choosing, and then look at yourself in the mirror after that for the rest of the day.
That would be weird.
Dark Skies was a series that ran from 1996 to 1997. It's about 1960s America. A young couple struggle to expose the truth about a hidden alien invasion while a secret government organization follows their agenda dealing with the threat.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 96 and 97.
They should reboot the Lone
What show was it?
Dark Skies.
90s? With Noah Wiley?
No. This has Eric Close, JT Walsh, a bunch of nobodies.
Remember that show he did? And no Wiley, that well, it was on for years. It just ended.
Was that Falling Skies? No.
Falling Skies, yeah. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that
Falling
one.
Skies was 2011 with Noah Wiley and Drew Rohr.
So, how many more alien invasion movies have to be made before the collective manifests an actual alien invasion?
Until Hillary Clinton.
Die out by then.
Once Hillary becomes president in 2020 and discloses to us.
Yeah.
One,
that's what's going to happen.
Maybe 4.
Maybe 4.
But we don't know.
Billions
I'm not really sure.
and billions.
And it only makes common sense.
I'm just glad there's not like a majority of evangelicals, because we'd have fucking zombies running around and the rapture happening.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. If we had to manifest this shit, Jesus Christ.
All right. Well, dude, that's another thing just brought up in the chats about that whole Lone Gunman series, the X-Files spinoff that came out.
I brought that up.
They predicted 9/11.
Yeah,
they just had that on. That was the last one I just watched.
That was totally predictive programming. Like, what's that all about?
It was the story of the smoking man and all the different shit he was into.
No.
The plan of crashing airplanes into the World Trade Center was actually like a scenario that they trained for, that they were aware of and could protect against, like whoever, like the Defense Department. So it existed after before the Lone Gunmen were made. So I think that's where they got it from. It was like a declassified document.
It could have been.
It is. So I mean, they didn't. I wrote an article about this, about how like 9/11.
Wasn't there a rap album?
A rap album called Lone Gunman?
No. Wasn't there a rap album that had like 2 guys like on the cover?
Oh, there was tons of predictive programming, or tons of stuff for 9/11 going on. Like, there was just endless things that you could go back into in the culture and symbolism about it happening. It's crazy. So it's very possible that we manifested it. They had to pull that Spider-Man. It was like a scene in the Spider-Man movie coming out, because like he was swinging through exploding. Yeah, poster. Like the 2 towers were going down. They had to take that. There was an old Beavis and Butthead
between the towers and Spider-Man.
There was an old Beavis and Butthead cartoon from like the 90s. It was an ad, and it had both of them flying around the towers in airplanes with Arab like.
Just take that out of here.
Yeah, yeah. They had the. My brain's not working.
I watched the one tightrope walker dude that did that.
Man on the Wire.
Man on the Wire. Yeah, I watched that maybe a year ago. Yeah,
pretty good.
It was pretty cool how they pulled it all off, and I'm sure it's elaborated some, but the whole story is pretty cool.
They did it like it was like a heist.
That's how they portrayed it, as like this huge like thing right when they were building it and everything. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. There was some a scene where they're hiding out from cops up there all night long and on a steel beam and shit. Yeah, over the elevator shaft of the whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like,
it's pretty ballsy.
It was pretty cool. That was probably the last thing I saw with the Twin Towers in it. Besides any other random clip you see.
I've been watching this show called Super Wings with my
Super Wings.
My baby boy. Do you know Super Wings?
Sounds familiar.
It's just like a kid's show where like the airplanes are
talk and stuff or something.
How do you say that word? Anthropomorphic. Yeah. They're anthropomorphic airplanes, and it's so funny. It's so formulaic that you can to the second they do a lot of stock footage stuff too, where they replay these scenes like when the airplane transforms into like a more of like a person. They play that. And it's just like they just cut that scene. They cut to that scene. But within the first 25 seconds of the show, there's like a little situation in the first 25 seconds. And then the airplane gets called on a delivery after 25 seconds. So the guy goes up, the airplane guy goes up into the control tower. And there's this guy called Jimbo. And he goes, all right, you have a package for you to deliver to. And then they talk about some place in the world. And it's very stereotypical. Like, you're going to Vietnam. And you're going to deliver this to Sue or whatever. and then he always gives a little language lesson.
Oh,
and then they do another stock footage of the guy pushing all the buttons, saying, "All systems are go, 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 and go." And
those shows are just unreal. As I've watched them and then went back to some because of my youngest son. Yeah, I'm like, oh my god.
But it's funny because they translate. I'm guessing it's translated from another language, and then they put the overdubs of English, or they change the mouth to look English. But it's funny because it's very like elementary, where the person will answer the door when the airplane knocks on the door, and they'll look at each other for like 2-3 seconds, and then they'll go, "Hello," and it's just very like basic, and they really spread out like the script. And another one of the formulaic little lines they say is whenever the one airplane's in trouble, he talks to the kids and he goes, I have to call the super wings.
Yeah.
And then the kids go, the super wings? And they kind of do the little inflection where they go high, super wings. And then the guy always has his one line where he says, he goes, yeah, my awesome airplane friends who come to help me whenever I need them.
Oh.
But it's very formulaic. It's funny because you can go, okay, now they're at this part of the show where like right now, this very second, they're gonna do the one stock footage scene and then
pops in.
Yeah. And they transform.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got anything else, guys? We're getting close.
Well, I don't know.
I'm always close.
Just because you're an edger, you're one of those edge lords.
On the edge, right there.
Oh yeah.
Just he's touching just the tip of it.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
The Godhead.
The Godhead with the loofah in the kitchen.
Praying in the spaghetti guy, or what were those? The pastafari.
Yeah,
pastafari.
Spaghetti monster.
Yes.
It's like
did you ever see the driver's license pictures of the guys with the strainers on their heads?
Yeah, they had the strainers. Yeah.
Yeah.
They tried to start their own religion, right?
They did start it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So imagine how powerful the flying spaghetti monster.
The flying spaghetti. Yeah.
In thought form space.
Well, there's them.
Man,
Who's there also the
Bigfoot erotica?
The Raelians.
Oh my god. We need to do like a play or something, like a skit. Act it out over like a series of like 3 weeks. Something.
Skit about Rastafarians?
No, about
Pastafarians or Raelians. Raelians are all about the topless women movement or something. They're another alien.
Oh, I had a
Raelians.
cryptocurrency thing. One thing I meant to mention
about cryptocurrency, how we're all gonna be rich once we buy this huge dip that's going on.
Check this out. Just today I heard it, and then when we were talking earlier, I tried to pipe in on it, but just today. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have often been cited as being major conduit for money laundering and terrorist financing offenses. Not least because of pseudo anonymity, it affords it. Because of the whole blockchain thing, dude. Like they don't see where that shit's going, but basically they supposedly. They busted this Zuba Shenan's 27 of Brentwood, Long Island, New York. In a total that she had transferred more than $150,000 in illicit proceeds in Bitcoin going to global terrorist organization ISIS,
which is the CIA.
There you go. Right? They just paid the CIA in Bitcoin. Yeah, so they claim that transaction was falsified in 2017. In the end, destination funds included Turkey, China, and Pakistan.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. They're trying to hurt China because China probably owns most of the Bitcoins in the world with their huge Bitcoin farms. And if you can crush the price of Bitcoin, crush all their whatever they did, It's all it's more bullshit.
Let's see. It began when Shanaz was previously employed as a lab technician and was believed to in receipt of a $71,000 job, per year. That's pretty, lab tech, whatever. Defrauded a range of U.S.-based financial institutions, the likes of Amazon or American Express, Discovery, Chase. Provided the criminal with six credit cards based on the information she provided on her application. It was also established that she was able to fraudulently obtain a bank loan an amount of $22,500. She then proceeded to use the cards alongside a plethora of other credit cards registered in her own name to purchase the cryptocurrencies from third-party exchange platforms. The prosecutor for the case stated that once the cryptocurrencies were purchased, they were then exchanged for the U.S. dollar. There you go. And it subsequently transferred back into a bank a bank account that she controlled once the funds arrived, and then she began transferring the proceeds to several overseas jurisdictions, each transferring about 10 grand. And she was caught at JFK airport. Law enforcement caught her, took interest into her when they discovered highly suspicious internet search activity. How would they check that at an airport? That's crazy. I guess they had her tagged or something. But yeah, so crypto is paying for terrorism, which is probably pretty easy to do, I would imagine.
I'm sick of these terrorists.
I don't believe they exist.
They really don't think they do because
So they have to exist in some form.
Go on a trip.
You know who are terrorists? All the fucking migrants attacking our border gate, throwing rocks. Technically terrorists if you read the law,
definition of terrorism.
Yeah.
I don't read definitions.
No.
I want to know how these
I
fuckers
just assume.
broke through all the countries between here and Honduras.
Well, you don't have to break through if they let you through, Jer.
It's like Frogger.
No, Mexico's got a gate. They tore that one down. I saw that, but I mean, everyone just let them through. Like, I don't know.
Who knows?
Guatemala.
I do know that that Soros got banned. Soros got banned from Turkey because apparently one of his what's that foundation he runs, like Open World or something, Open Society.
Yeah, right.
Apparently the guy there was doing some really he was doing some really shady shit in the country. I should actually save the article.
There's there's a group similar to that that's funded this caravan.
Mm-hmm.
It's called like Mesa Scene Border.
Dude, he had to been behind that shit.
He's the boogeyman. He's got
that costs millions and millions and millions of dollars, dude. You gotta get water, transportation, all of them fucking people. Yeah.
Holograms.
Oh, they're walking there in flip flops for a trillion miles? I don't think so.
It just seems so staged. And then, like nothing I saw that went down is bad or immoral or illegal. It was all just business as usual for the Border Patrol agents. They shoot tear gas at people who go try and jump the gate. It happens all the time.
Man.
It happens all the time. Like Bill Clinton fucking did it back when he was president. Everyone that's
Obama did it. They all did it, dude.
Exactly. But now when Trump does it, he's evil.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta use those the military guard. You gotta put them down there. I mean, you got shit like that coming in. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? And you want to come in, apply. It's pretty easy. You get a work visa if that's what you're claiming. I'm coming for work. Because all you got to do is they got to raise their hand and just say, I'm here for asylum. Like, it's weird. I don't get it, but I don't even. That's a whole nother.
What are those? All your Fox News talking points?
Fox News? I don't know nothing. I just know some. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I know there's an asylum law. I know there's that. Like, all you have to say is that, but you got to prove it. Like, where you're from, like. I mean, and then I'm thinking, like, how is Joe Schmo, gonna be able to prove who the hell he is? Like, I don't.
23andMe.
Yeah, spit in this cup and I'll let you in. Yeah, you might have to come down to it. I don't know.
That group is called Pueblos Sin Fronteras, People Without Borders, which is a project of La Familia Latina Unida, a Chicago, Illinois-based 501c4 illegal immigration advocacy group.
Well, we know how corrupt Chicago is. Mr. Emmanuel up there it's a shit show.
Yeah, it's a shit show. So I would say that there's probably Democratic money or left money going into this caravan through donations or whatever, which means that there's probably Soros money behind it. Right here, Matt Gates.
Guaranteed, dude.
Shared a video on Twitter of caravan migrants in a line receiving cash in Guatemala. So yeah, someone's taking care of these people. Someone also started the rumor that the gate would be open, which is why everyone rushed it.
Yeah, let's get there. I saw someone got impaled on it today.
Which, of course, if you watched the Young Turks yesterday or 2 days ago, they blamed on Trump. Trump started the rumor.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
He I heard fucking Andrew Mitchell today or yesterday said that Trump financed this to create because he doesn't want to let it. It was like the circular fucked up argument. Like, these people are making shit up.
Right.
To bash,
yeah, man.
Just to work Trump into the bad guy of every situation. A bank was robbed today. Trump is a suspect.
God,
it's ridiculous.
You just listen around every day. You hear so many angles and so much
bullshit. So much.
Well, I'm not even talking about watching your TV. Now I'm seeing it like daily in conversation. And I don't even see a lot of people their name, but the 3 or 4 people I saw today, it came up like 3 times, and it's just like spouting back and forth. Oh, the guy, Trump personally, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he's doing good shit for the country. Yeah, he's doing some good things for the country.
It just makes me wonder. Why is everyone being distracted by this? What is going on?
Yeah, what is going on exactly? Because he's the biggest.
There's something else.
Yeah, he's the best president for anything to go on behind the scenes.
Like the Mueller probe's falling apart.
Right.
Yeah, you haven't even heard anything about that.
Right. Yeah.
Apparently, it's been great. What's happened the last couple of days is that there were all these rumors that Jerome Corsi was going to get indicted.
Corsi, yeah.
Remember? And I don't know if you had an interview with Mueller or something, but anyway, he turned up. As it turns out, he's now suing Mueller, or has threatened to sue him for basically being an illegal search and seizure kind of thing.
And then I was telling Grim and Felix last week. I saw that whole hysteria go down in first person between 2 family members, where that divide split, and they haven't talked since over like a week because of this shit. And that's the first time I've seen it in person. And I've even heard my mom say shit like blah 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 blah. I don't try to get wrapped up in it, but I take it in and I analyze it myself, which is what anybody should do.
So here's one thing I've noticed, and this is from people who watch a lot of CNN or MSNBC.
It's tough.
Watch a lot of that.
MSNBC.
I stole that from Sargon. That they're all hung up on Trump being a liar. That's a really big thing with he's a liar. He's a liar. Like, what president has never lied?
Yeah. Very true.
And your politicians lie to you. Everybody lies to you. But Trump's bad. I mean, you could not really operate successfully in this world not lying. At
Hillary flip-flop on some
the migrants. Yeah.
Oh, she's scum, but dude, that's why
ready to squirt,
That's why Trump is president, because people relate with that. He's a real person, and he's pulled back that whole veil of the office having to be like this big luxurious just fake bullshit. Like we're all people.
Raw.
Who cares? Yeah, he's
not
raw.
politically correct, and that's what everyone's upset about.
But I think there's equally
correct. You are labeled a racist or a liar or a fascist or Nazi because the people who are programmed to political correctness are fucking retards.
Oh, it's tough.
Really beyond that.
Hey, be nice.
My feelings got hurt.
You get the super far right leaning going up against the I would say the believers of the mass part, which the mass I would say is like
the programming.
Dude,
so like
it's
in oh my god.
Hey, who's that?
James is getting a call.
It's the fucking system, man. They don't want to talk.
Well, it's because my whole generation was raised. We were raised with like sharing is caring. Don't bully. Don't say mean things to each other and stuff.
Which are all fine in moderation.
And now we're just grow up to be a bunch of soft communists. That's pretty much what's happened.
Everyone's got to be. You can't hit your kid. You can't spank. Yeah. You can't discipline your child without having a safe space.
James, is that Hillary calling you to pitch in?
I mean, I bet you can't even put a.
She just told me
chip in.
Just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
Just chip in.
Put on that dunce cap and sit in the corner, you little fuck. Yeah, you'd probably go to jail for that.
You don't want to shame those.
Yeah, that's
kids.
assault charges.
Verbal assault.
You only get more pushback.
Yes, that's why you wear tall boots.
So you don't get
guys.
pushback?
We got anything else to cover it up?
I don't know, man. We covered so much stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, great show.
We have been streaming on Grimerica.ca/FM the entire night.
Yeah, dude, we've had a steady 8 listeners all night. So thanks, guys.
Thanks for
appreciate that.
We'll have
I just saw.
Wait! I gotta go
8,000
8 computers.
Yeah.
I got 8 computers running over here.
Hold on, the Keurig's running. I'll be right back. No, Anon Kuhn. You're right, man. Because I just saw this today too about the Russians and the Ukrainians. They ram boats into each other out in. There's a little stretch. There's a little stretch to sea that's bordering there, and they're about slamming each other. And then they were all up in arms about like they're gonna start another fucking war over there and shit. So that could be a distraction. I mean, it's like what?
But you know what, guys? What we can do is just keep a good attitude and put some love out there.
Sure. Listen to that good news segment.
All this.
Pet your dog.
No, the point is you can observe it and watch it.
Tough,
don't pick a side. That's don't
not at all.
Just observe.
Listen and inform.
The only safe option is to not pick a side. Just watch it all crash.
Watch it all. Mm-hmm. Watch it. Like I said, I've seen so much weird stuff lately in the last. I mean, it's finally bleeding over into my life, which I'm sure bleeds over into so many lives. I'm not a Facebook guy. I'm not any of those. And now it's just bleeding into real life situations, and which is kind of crazy, dude. And
we're heading towards civil war, and the aliens are going to stop it. So.
Just
chill.
And I'm watching it, and I'll pipe in with a random thing here and there, and just nothing too crazy. But I'm just letting people the people that are having it out have it out, and it's crazy, dude. People are just so sidetracked and caught up in it, and
they're missing NASA. And then moon
these people are older. They're the what's on your TV and in the newspaper. That's what's up, but they do some online stuff, but you're reading what you want to read. You got to take it all in from all different angles. You got to hear everything, and you form your own opinion based on that. I mean, that's the only thing I could say to anybody is just
listen,
learn, and just
Just be kind.
Be alert when you're soaking this stuff in, because
be the ball.
Something always bigger and play. Be involved in your community. Be involved in more your local areas. You can't control everything. You're never going to win an argument. At this point in time, we all know this. You're never going to win a single thing. It's just going to divide the parties in half.
And just tap it in. Just tap
you gotta you spit on the hand.
It's Cool Whip time.
Slide it in, dude. Just tap it in. You just tap. Give it a little tappy. A taparoo.
Tap
Whistleblower, tappy, something like that.
You gotta hold these people's hands, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be okay. Take it with a grain of salt.
The rent is too damn high.
That's right. And then I'm like, fuck the rent. I'm getting a tattoo. Get that sticker on my fridge for so long. Growing up. Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, guys, this has been a great time.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah.
Jerry, Felix, love you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Hell yeah.
I might play Ocarina on the next show.
Hey, that'd be cool. Bring it in.
You've been practicing?
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Awesome.
Well, everybody out there, you can check the website, cruisinwithsteak.com. There's links to Nox Mente and Felix's websites on there. Check that out. And
all you guys were listening here earlier. We got to hear before I even got here, Grim Snake was just jamming Felix tunes.
Oh yeah, we were playing Felix music on the pre-stream, so tune in early and you can hear some music. But what were you going to say, Jerry?
On Nox Mente, we have Ben Emlyn Jones, who's like a UK UFO researcher, experiencer.
Sweet.
Nice.
Ghost hunter. He
does it all.
He's a total freak, so it should be a great show.
Awesome.
And it's going to be on at 4:00 tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, man. Yeah, this will probably come out after that. But
7 Deadly Sins.
Well, if you're listening,
check it out.
Or if you're listening live, check it out.
I have to put this listing up. All right. Thanks.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.
Oh, it was fun, man. Thanks. Yep.
Be thankful.
Come join the chat.
Give thanks.
Give thanks. And the live stream's off and podcast is off.
so blue.